coming up. So obviously, we will be keeping tabs on that. And Victor, I can't wait for your conversation this morning with your panelists. And that aside, today being a Monday, we'll be having a conversation on matters family. And our topic of conversation today is redefining matrimonial partners. What does that mean? How does that look like? Remember, the Kenyan court declared recently that cooking, childcare, and housework can earn someone a share of the matrimonial property and not just the certificate as we're used to, the marriage certificate. Now, you having participated in housework is going to be recognized. So we're going to be looking at that and just get to look at beyond the certificate, what is a marriage worth? That is the conversation that I'll be having later on Family Check. And I'll have with me right here in studio an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, that is Kasande Annette, and she's also the managing partner, Kasande and Advocates. We'll also be having Cleopa Njiru, who is a counseling psychologist and the founder and director, Vitamin Solution Limited. We'll have that conversation later on. I was about to call you Victor.
No, it's okay, it's okay. Because I know you wanted to ask me about the World Cup.
Give us one. Oh, yeah. Good morning. And how are your teams faring so far in the World Cup? We've gotten to the round of 32.
Oh, Vivian and Victor, I think so far we are doing well. A lot of African teams still on the game in the round of 32. But South Africa was eliminated yesterday.
Yes.
And I don't know, this conversation, many Africans have been saying there is Africa, then there is South Africa. So they're not counting South Africa as one of the countries in the continent. I don't know why. A conversation for another time. But so many African countries still there. You count Cote d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast, if you like. Senegal is still there. Is Ghana still there, Victor?
Ghana is still there.
Ghana is still there, yes.
DRC Congo
Morocco
is
still there. Egypt is still there. And I think they're doing very well.
Yeah.
Very well.
All right. Actually, the results as it stands right now, as at yesterday, England beat Panama 2-0. Croatia beat Ghana 2-1. Then Colombia and Portugal, of all the teams, you can imagine, 0-0. And then Batoto Bakongo 3-1 to Uzbekistan. All right. So, and that is again Algeria drew 3-3 with Austria and not really Jordan, Argentina. Argentina is doing very well, by the way.
It is.
Yes,
Akina Messi. It is a title defender. Actually.
Yeah, they are pushing so well. And South Africa, of course, they were eliminated. 1-0 Canada, and of course today Brazil and Japan. That's going to be a mouth-watering match. Japan has got some, they have got some tenacity when it comes to that. All right,
Victor,
so
I was telling Vivian, the African teams have a problem in matters concentration. They do not concentrate, they do not focus in the last minutes. South Africa actually lost the game, yesterday's game, at the 92 minutes.
Yes.
That's where they scored.
Yeah.
They were scored, one. Actually, the game was over. Yeah, and they succumbed. They succumbed. So let's see whether how the African teams, they continue playing. Yeah. That is where the challenge is.
It's going to be an interesting one. By the way, moving forward now to the next stages, I think that's now where we all need to be glued. All right? Okay. Sure. So at 7, before Giverson picks it, at 7 we'll have George Kithi, advocate of the High Court. We'll also have Honorable John Waluke, MP Sirisia constituency. Daniel Orogo, political and government consultant, will be here. And finally, Dr. Peter Mbai, who is the Secretary, Planning and Economic Affairs, DCP. The 4 gentlemen will be here. Let's talk about the political heat wave that we are experiencing right now in the country. Stay with us. Over to you, Giverson.
Oh, thank you, Victor and Vivian. And speaking of heat wave has killed 1,000 people so far in France, literally speaking. And all of them are dropping. At the age of above 65 years, many of them are dropping. But now let's come to the country and straight to the world of news, where President William Ruto has sounded a stern warning to perpetrators, school perpetrators unrest that have in the recent past disrupted learning across the country. Now, the head of state who spoke at Buriauri Boys Senior School in Maua, Igembe Central in Meru County, said parents must present their children's upbringing to help shape their character at an early age. President Ruto told of opposition leaders criticizing his frequent visits across the country. Here's more. President William Ruto on Sunday graced the 60th anniversary celebrations of Brieruri Boys Senior School in Maua Igembe Central in Meru County. The president using the occasion to caution against perpetrators of student unrest and schools that have disrupted learning institutions across the country.
In recent weeks, our nation has watched with deep concern incidents of unrest in some of our schools. They remind us that education is not only about passing examinations, but also about forming character, resolving differences peacefully.
The head of state adding that parents must take an active role bringing up and shaping character of their children.
A school can educate a child, but it cannot raise one. It cannot raise your child. Be present in your children's lives. Know their friends.
President Ruto also dishing out goodies worth billions of shillings to the Mount Kenya East, including an allocation of 8 billion to build the road network in the county, electricity connection to 23,000 at a cost of 2.3 billion shillings, and a promise to soon commence construction of new Nithi Bridge. Local leaders pledged to rally for his re-election bid in return.
Mimi nataka nihakikishie Rais hapa tumejipanga na mambo ya 2 term. Ni kweli si kweli? Ni kweli si kweli? Iko mtu atapiga kura nje? Wamero hoye.
Hawa wangwana, baba zangu, mama zangu, ndugu zangu ambao wako nyuma hapa, wako hapa kwa sababu yako. Na watasimama na wewe mchana na usiku. Watatembea na wewe safari yako.
Wewe ndiwe rais wa kwanza kuwa na huruma na Wameru, kuwa na huruma na watu wa Isiolo, kuwa na huruma na watu wa Northeastern, kuwa na huruma na Wakenya ambao wanatembea pande hii. Wale watu wamekufia katika Nithi Bridge.
Mheshimiwa Rais anataka tu hiyo term mwingine moja tuweze kumaliza kazi hapa. Kwa hivyo wasitukumbushe, ni mambo ambayo tunajua.
The first in command also dismissed critiques of his frequent visits around the country, saying it's the only way of listening to concerns from Kenyans.
Juzi na waona ati wanafurahi sana kwa sababu ati Wakenya hawakuenda kazini. Yani Wakenya walipoteza muda. Vile they have wasted all their time for 50 years. They are celebrating when people don't go to work.
I suspect that they do not mean 1 term. My suspicion is that they mean 1 more term, to make 2 terms for you. Because what you've done has never been done before in this country.
Harambe! Later he addressed a public rally in Maua and briefed residents on the government's agenda for the region. Now we take you to Nyandarua County, where All Kalau UDA candidate Samuel Mushina has reported the destruction of his campaign billboard in Captain Town, raising concerns over escalating political intolerance ahead of the July 16th parliamentary by-election. Now Mushina, accompanied by officers from Presidential Special Projects and Creative Economy offices, also indicated an intention to formally notify the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IBC) to enable the electoral body to intervene and prevent a further escalation of campaign-related violence. Take a look.
Speaking after reporting malicious damage of his campaign material, UDA parliamentary candidate Samuel Mushina appealed to his rivals and supporters to uphold peaceful campaigns, noting that while the election come and go, residents would continue living together in All Kalau.
Wale ambao wananisupport ama wale ambao wananiunga mkono, ningeomba msiharibu mali ya mtu yeyote, msiharibu mali ya mtu yeyote ambaye labda tunashindana na yeye, kwa sababu mimi ninaomba tuweke amani, kwa sababu uchaguzi utaisha na sisi tutabaki tukiwa wananchi wa Rukarau.
The destruction of Mushina's campaign material occurred on Saturday evening, shortly after the final match of the Kaifaga football tournament at Salient Secondary School grounds in Captain Town. Soon after Mushina left the venue, sections of the crowd turned rowdy and vandalized a giant billboard bearing his image. A nearby billboard belonging to his main rival, Sami Kamau of DCP, was left untouched. Moshina claimed the perpetrators had been ferried into Captain Town in 2 lorries whose registration numbers have been handed over to the police.
Siku ya leo nikaona ni vizuri nije hapa niweze kuripoti hiyo kesi kwa sababu sisi kama wakaaji wa Olkarau hatungetaka kuona mali yetu ikiharibiwa na wahuni ambao wanaletwa kutoka eneo zingine za ubunge, na mimi nikifikiria ni wale ambao tunashindana na wao wanaleta hao wahuni.
The vandalism marks the first reported case of destruction of campaign materials since campaigns began to fill the parliamentary seat left vacant following the death of Olkarau MP David Keraho in March.
And away from politics, church and government leaders have called for stronger partnerships to protect families, safeguard children, promote peaceful coexistence, and economically empower women. The call was made in Nyahururu, Laikipia County during celebrations marking 150 years of the Anglican Church of Kenya Mothers Union. The leaders emphasized the need for collective efforts to address challenges facing families, including child abuse, school dropouts, online exploitation, and bullying.
It was a celebration of faith, family and service as the ACK Mothers Union marked 150 years of existence and impact. The celebrations in Nyahururu brought together church and government leaders who called for stronger partnerships to protect families, safeguard children, promote peaceful coexistence and economically empower women. Speaking at the event, Right Reverend Retired Major Bishop Sam Gashadi of the ACK Nyahururu Diocese said strong families remain the foundation of a stable society and urged parents, churches, schools and the government to work together in protecting children and women from abuse, exploitation and violence.
Violence against women and girls is both a sin against God and a crime against humanity. No home can flourish when fear replaces love. No marriage can prosper where violence replaces mutual respect. No society can claim moral progress while women continue to suffer abuse behind closed doors. As a church, we remain firm. We affirm that every woman bears the image of God and deserves to live in dignity, security, and peace.
Tourism Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano praised the Mothers Union for its role in nurturing families, mentoring women, and promoting moral values over the past 150 years. She called for stronger collaboration between the organization and the government in advancing financial literacy and economic empowerment initiatives aimed at improving the livelihoods of women.
The President of Mothers Union, we are very happy to hear that you are going to the next step, where women will continue to transition into empowerment. I would like to request that you partner strongly with the government through the Ministry of Gender so that we have financial literacy, we have empowerment and other opportunities that exist for women and probably that they didn't know.
We have a big role in this nation to pray for our children and most importantly, to pray for our nation.
The Mothers Union was founded by Mary Sumner in 1876 and has grown into a global Christian organization dedicated to supporting family life, promoting stable marriages, and empowering women through faith and community service.
The government is implementing more than 400 kilometers of road projects worth 25 billion shillings in Nyandarua County as part of efforts to improve infrastructure and enhance connectivity across the region. Transport and Roads Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir announced the project during the inspection tour and the launch of the 37-kilometer Ngorika-Kanjuiri Road. Now, and as Timothy Kipnusu now reports, Chirchir dismissed claims that the ongoing development projects in Nyandarua had been influenced by the forthcoming Olkalau parliamentary by-election.
Nyandarua County has received a major boost after the government launched an ambitious road project. The more than 400 kilometers of road project that will cost 25 billion shillings are aimed at improving infrastructure and enhancing connectivity across the region. Speaking during an inspection tour, Transport and Roads Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir said the national government had cleared all pending contractor payments amounting to 175 billion shillings, paving the way for faster completion of infrastructure projects across the country.
Hii kazi nilikuwa nimemuuliza hapo kitambo. Tutaweka magari zaidi ya 37 heavy earth moving vehicles kwa hii kazi. Vijana watakaoajiriwa kazi, the youth to be employed will be the youth from this community.
Upeleke shukrani zetu kwa Mheshimiwa Rais, kwa sababu hapa kwetu Nyandarua, hapa kwetu Ngorika, leo ndio tumepata uhuru wa barabara. Leo ni siku ya kihistoria.
Chirchir, however, dismissed claims that the ongoing development projects in Nyandarua had been influenced by the forthcoming Olkalau parliamentary by-election, maintaining that the projects were part of the government's long-term development agenda.
Na tutajionea, unajua wakati ya siasa saa hii borojo ni mingi. Tutasikia maneno mengi, lakini tusipochunga tutaona madogo sana. So I want to assure you we will bring development to the people of Olkalau like we are building the rest of Kenya.
Huu ni muujiza unaofanyika katika vijiji zetu. Kwa sababu miaka 64 hatujapata barabara, hatujapata maji, hatujapata maendeleo, sasa ndio haya. Kweli si kweli jamani?
Leaders who accompanied him urged residents to support the UDA candidate in the July 16th Olkalau by-election, saying continued collaboration with the national government would accelerate the implementation of more development projects in the constituency.
Ikifika tarehe 16 mwezi wa 7, mchague maendeleo, 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 na mchague maendeleo kupitia Moshina.
Now, 3 people have been confirmed dead, while 10 others are nursing serious injuries following a grisly road accident involving a trailer and a passenger matatu at a Chimoy Bridge along the Eldoret-Webuye Highway. Now, the crash has once again raised concerns of safety on one of the country's busiest transport corridors. Take a look.
3 people were killed on the spot after a trailer collided head-on with a North Rift matatu at Chimoy Bridge in Lugari constituency. The matatu was traveling from Nairobi. Witnesses say the speeding trailer attempted to overtake near a speed bump before losing control and crashing into the oncoming vehicle. Emergency responders and residents rushed to rescue survivors, with the injured taken to nearby hospitals for treatment.
Mimi nimefuatana haya magari nikitoka Chimoy. Hii trailer ambayo imepepa miti, tafadhali ilikuwa overspeed. Na ilipata gari ingine hapa kwa daraja ikashindwa kudhibiti mwendo wake. That's why iliingia kwa hii Nissan na ikaanguka kwa Nissan, ndio watu wakakufa.
Hata hili gari lenye limefanya accident hili, ukiangalia tu miti zenye zimetoka ndani, kwani imepita kwa tani ngapi?
Serikali chenye tumeona hapa kimetuzidi umri na tumechoka. Watu wa Nairobi wamepoteza maisha yao na walikuwa wamefika nyumbani.
Residents are now calling on the government to fast-track the expansion of the Eldoret-Webuye Highway, citing the rising number of fatal accidents along the busy road.
Kikaribia kwa daraja pale, badala ya kuwa iko narrow, at least to overlap hiyo barabara, zile grills za mabati kando tujaribu kuziunda.
Tuundie barabara yenye iko pana kidogo. Itasaidia because hapa hivi zimefinyana juu, barabara ni ndogo.
Mariambo reporting for Good Morning Kenya.
The Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, has ruled out any possibility of extending the June 30th deadline for filing of returns. Now, the taxman called on last-minute filers to leverage the multiple platforms availed for the exercise to update the records before midnight on Tuesday. Those who fail to comply will attract penalties and a default assessment. One of the major platforms available to file is the WhatsApp number of a short code that allows a filer to do so at the convenience of their phone. Now, as part of sensitizing taxpayers, the Jijue Better File and Pay campaign was in Homa Bay County, with hundreds turning up to file their returns ahead of Tuesday. Now, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is the official media partner for KRA in the campaign.
Wanakuambia weka ID. Unaweka ID. Ndio unataka? Haya. Kama ndio unataka. Iloko kinamtisa. Wale jumana mara. Tutisa tulimuka madam. Niacho ndio tunayapro. Apele. Wakuja tupatie raha burda. Isafai. Sikia sasa kabla nisifanye. Ya unamisi.
Now let's get sporty. Now, Kenya's Junior Baseball 5 team are the new East African regional champions after unbeaten campaign at the tournament that concluded yesterday in Kampala, Uganda. The youthful side capped off a dominant performance with a convincing victory over host Uganda to reclaim the regional crown. Kenya defeated Uganda in 2 straight sets, winning the first 11-0 before sealing the title with an 8-1 victory in the second set. Now, the victory also secured Kenya's qualification to the African Baseball 5 Championship later this year alongside runners-up Uganda. Now, the triumph comes as a major confidence boost for the team, which is also preparing to represent the country at the Youth Olympic Games scheduled to be held in Dakar, Senegal later this year. Now, team officials and players express confidence that the regional success will serve as a motivation as they shift focus to the Continental Championships before taking on the world's best at the Youth Olympics.
It's in pressure because this is the first time they're winning. So the Uganda was so confident that they always take this championship. So the Kenya took it. It's a bit good and it's amazing.
We did well. The game went as we planned. We became victorious as we promised our fans and the country at large.
Ushindi huo pia umehakikishia Kenya nafasi ya kushiriki
And let's go to Matters World Cup. South Africa is the first African football team or the country to be eliminated in the World Cup after they were beaten 1-0 at a match that played yesterday, and of course was carried by KBC. And they were, of course, scored at the last minute, 92nd minute, actually. Of course, we continue putting an eye on that. Of course, KBC will be bringing you the live coverage of various matches, including today and even tomorrow and even the day after. Now, that's where we end our news coverage on Good Morning Kenya right now. My name is Giverson Maina, but of course, the show continues on the other side with Victor Law. But before that, we take a short commercial break.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday from 10 p.m. and a rerun every Tuesday from 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
All right, welcome back. It's now time for us to get into the discussion. It's now 7 on the dot. Karibu sana to the program. I'm Victor. If you're just joining us, this is Good Morning Kenya on KBC Channel 1. All right, so let me get straight into it. Of course, Dr. Peter Mbai is already in studio waiting for the other guests to stream in. Dr. Peter Mbai is the Secretary, Planning and Economic Affairs, DCP Party. Dr. is here. All right, but before then, let me take you through the front page of the local dailies. Pretty fast before we get to the discussion. On the front page of the Star newspaper, the Star says that water cartels thrive in cities as households drown in costs. Water cartels thrive in cities as households drown in costs. Public anger grows as residents feel shortage is artificial. All right. Okay, that is what is here. The president says that my rivals are below par. I'll crush them in 2027. Okay. Again, there's a story here which talks about your cooking oil, the cooking fat that you are consuming. There's a story here by the Star which says that that is a silent killer which is lacking in Kenyan foods. Cooking fat, silent killer lacking in Kenyan foods. The Star reports that Kenya has been urged to urgently introduce stricter limits on harmful industrial trans fats in food, a move that could actually prevent tens of thousands of deaths, a new policy brief suggests. The brief also recommends that Kenya amend existing food regulations to adopt the World Health Organization's recommended limit of industrial produced trans fats at no more than 2% of total fat content in foods, or ban partially hydrogenated oils altogether. So that is the story. You can take a look at that. Opposition says that state machinery deployed ahead of Olkalau poll. Okay, another story here. And of course, the opposition has stepped up accusations against President William Ruto, claiming that he is deploying the full machinery of government to help UDA win the Olkalau by-election. Gatanga MP Edward Muriu, an ally of DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua, has accused CSS and PSS of turning government programs into campaign platforms. Muriu said that state officials are appearing alongside UDA candidate, that is Samuel Mushina Nyaga, and branding taxpayer-funded projects with political messaging. Being the fact that Dr. Peter Mbai, who is the Secretary, Planning and Economic Affairs, DCP Party, is here, he'll tell us more about that, because when accusations are made, Mheshimiwa is saying that, then probably that must have fallen on his ears as well. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good to see you.
Very well.
It must have been a very long time for you, campaigning in Olkalau and all that.
Yeah, it's been some time. Many things are going on.
Yes.
But we thank God for life.
Absolutely.
And good health here. That's why we are here. Yes.
Let me take you through the front page. Now, before we continue, what do you make of this accusation? Mheshimiwa Muriu making these accusations here. Have you heard of any of such?
What I know is that, of course, I saw a blueprint released by UDA, a blueprint of so many programs that are going to be done by every PS. So there was going to be either electricity or roads or a stadium and all those kind of things. What surprises is that you cannot tell me that Olkalau has just come into existence because of by-election. So why do you need somebody to pass on, so that you can bring development? Development should be done by people who are alive also, when the MPs are alive. So really, it doesn't make sense. But you see, we know these things. This script is the one that was done in Kipipiri by the late President Moi. So because there's a by-election, you go trying to bribe voters with government projects, which are, in a way, paid for by the taxes. Can't we serve the areas equally from Turkana to Voi, to Northeastern, to Western, wherever, Central, when there's no by-election? So they would do this. Kipipiri they did. By the way, the President of Olkalau was then Kipipiri, if you remember. So let them do what they want to do. After all, this is taxpayers' money. There are loads and loads of cash there. They have a budget of 1.2 billion. Let them do it. I mean, better they did the 500.
Which budget? For what for?
For the by-election, to give people, to give voters.
How did you know about that?
But I can tell you, it's me who's telling you now. They have a budget. It was the last time it was $1 billion. I think they put it up to 1.2 billion. I mean, better they did the 500 million. Emurudi they did 500 million. We know. So this one is double. So because there are people, unfortunately, we were here. It's us. It's us who put this government to power, and there is nothing that President Ruto gave us to vote for him. It was free love. But now people get to government and they think they have money now to think they can buy, they can buy love. It's not going to happen that way.
Okay, very well. I'll take you through the front page of the Standard shortly. The Standard talks about spending spree. And the spending spree talks about some of the governors who are actually on the front page of the Standard, including Governor Sakaja, Governor Wavinya Ndeti of Machakos. We also have Kirinyaga Governor, Anne Waiguru. We also have Baringo County under Mheshimiwa Chiboi, and of course Gladys Wanga of Homa Bay County. Okay, that is on the front page of the Standard. The Standard says that that's the spending spree.
What I can tell you, Vic.
Maybe I can take... just a minute. Okay. On the front page, it says that a new report from the Controller of Budget shows that county governments are actually wasting huge amounts of money on unnecessary allowances and costs of local travel, conferences, and international meetings. The report warns that many counties are also overspending on salaries. Their wage bills take up to 44% of their total revenue, which is above the legal limit of 35% set within the law. So governors are using too much public money on travel and staff costs, leaving little for roads, health, and other services that Kenyans need. It's been highlighted here. This is a report from the Controller of Budget. Let me start by Nairobi. Nairobi spent 1.18 billion shillings on domestic travel, 373 million shillings on foreign trips. Kirinyaga spent 235.37 million shillings on domestic travel, foreign travel, that is, and Machakos, 249.15 million shillings on domestic travel. And there was also 64.89 million shillings on foreign trips. Baringo County spent 302.9 million shillings on domestic travel and 20.64 million shillings on foreign trips. And lastly, 219 million shillings in Homa Bay County was spent on domestic travel with no allocation for foreign travel. So that is what is highlighted here on the Standard newspaper. What did you want to say, Doctor?
But Victor, let me tell you in a nutshell. I mean, I've been an expert on leadership and governance between the two levels of government.
Yes.
I can tell you this. If we are not careful, counties will grind to a halt in another 5-10 years. Because unfortunately, the people who are becoming governors, they don't know why the counties were there in the first place. It was not meant to be a consumption center. It was meant to be a production center.
Yes.
You go there and compete to produce, not to eat, right? Anytime I hear governors say that within 2 weeks, if you don't get the money for exchequer, they're going to close down. They should close them down anyway, if that's what they want. Because that's not the idea. Let me tell you, today, the issue of corruption, tenders, payment, increase of wage bill in the counties, the issue of revenue that never gets to the banks, it's all there in the counties. We were not meant to open more corruption centers by devolving these things. You cannot devolve inefficiency and corruption. So let me tell you this. There is so much wastage. Because the governor who come there like, I want to be better than the other governor. I want to, make sure I get as much money as possible. But the problem is the national government is supposed, because all this money, they get it from the national government. What should happen next year? If God helps us to take over government, first of all, if you cannot achieve the 65, the accurate was supposed to be 70-30, not even 35. You cannot. At least 30% should go to development. If you're not able to do it, first of all, freeze. You are not going to get any money until you show. You demonstrate that you cannot spend more money on recurrent than development. That's number one. Then go sort yourself. And then number two, you cannot tell me the money being collected by the city or by the defunct municipal council, they used to collect more money than is being collected now by a whole government. Because that is theft. If you cannot demonstrate the own source revenue, there's a measure, there's how you can tell me Nakuru, being one of the top two, from Nairobi in terms of GDP contribution nationally, this is what you're supposed to collect as a governor. If you cannot get that, we're not going to give you money from Nairobi. Okay. You must have discipline. But the problem is there's collusion between county governors and the national government. Okay. Because the national government is supposed to have policies.
Next to you is Judge Kithi. Yeah. Judge Kithi is Wakili. Good morning, Wakili.
Good morning. How are you?
An advocate of the High Court. Very well.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
The train has left. We are headed, and how have you been?
Good. Have you been?
Karibu sana.
Good to see you.
So far, so good. Now, this is it. So we are talking about this. I don't know what you can make. Doctor, you can give us the front page of this daily.
Yeah. Let me go this. Return of abductions. All right. There are 4 men: Davis Richuma, Macmillan Kerry, Abdulaziz Duba, Michael Olo, have not been seen. Some of them were arrested by people believed to be state agents in the days leading up to the last 2 weeks, second anniversary of the 2024 anti-tax protest. And the families are demanding. I had one give government 24 hours that if they don't produce their people by the end of today, tomorrow, there's going to be the city of Nairobi or this country will be ungovernable. Or what we are saying, please.
Okay.
If they were abducted because they feared they were going to interfere with the last day's anniversary, it is over. Please release. Let's not go there, please.
Okay.
Let's not go this direction. We don't want to be seen like we are liking what is happening in our neighboring countries. We are sinking there. We have come very far as a country. Let us stop this thing. Let me tell you, Victor, there is no way you can be elected when you are given power, of the sword, constitution, GSU, NIS. You have given that power so that you can lead people and be popular because you have the money. So you cannot begin fearing the young people or fearing the people of this country by this kind of abductions. It's not right.
All right.
We appeal to the president. Can you please order these people to be out? These are people, their fathers, uncles, brothers and sisters and all that.
Let's bring in Wakili as well. Yeah. Wakili, from the front page of local dailies, of course, a quick one, spending spree. You can see that from the Standard. We have water cartels thriving, but this is not something new that it is here. Ever since we met here, what has been your key highlight to this point? Last week we had Mandamano. Apparently there was no deaths reported, which is a very good thing. If it's supposed to be that way, it has to be peaceful, better way. Your key highlights so far?
Well, I think the election cycle has kicked in. So a lot of issues and debates within the society will be in the highlight. Most importantly is that this should be the norm on account of the fact that citizens must congregate in order to position themselves in the biases aftermath of the term, where when elections reach, people will make their biased choices for who they want. But most importantly, what we have is the Mandamano. I think we should be headed in that direction, where people can congregate, express themselves, but in pure maturity. Our youth, I think, are beginning to get the hang of what it should be.
Yeah.
it's not about destruction of property and ultimate disruption of lives and even loss of lives. The quality of Mandamano should be improving every day, because that then is the sanctity of the prospect of society and, more importantly, constitutionalism. When we came to today's spread of the papers, on spending spree, the indiscipline in counties won't stop today or tomorrow. There's no prospect of stopping tomorrow. What is important is that the rule of law must be afforded a chance. The rule of law, therefore, should be complemented with the fiscal management. I think there's a lot of interventions in handling public funds using human hands, as opposed to the trajectory of self-succeeding processes. For instance, I don't think people should, I think they should, people's position should be to express what the people want, because they're representing them. If they want a toilet, if they want a hospital, and so on and so forth. But the movement of funds should be to the end user from source. So when we collect funds as Kenyans and put them in a consolidated account, and there is order by Parliament or Senate for that money to be disbursed, the handling of the funds by the charlatans we have in positions in counties must stop. That funds must be distributed in a manner such that they have little influence over that spread of funds.
Look at
and why that is important is because the human hand is the interfering hand. Otherwise, if the funds are activated from source to the pay point, then deal with the pay point, but we have dealt with all market issues in that respect. Market interference, overloading expenses on the products that are supposed both goods and services is where the debate and all this starts from. And like I said, the appetite is only to end today or tomorrow. And therefore, I think if we are to automate collections, if we automate funds management, distribution, and its utility, ultimately is when we're going to reduce, to a large extent, a lot of these issues, because everybody seems to want to appetize over what is the prospect, what is a prospect at budgeting and even at execution of the spending.
Great. Let me come back to you, Dr. Dr. Based on what we're discussing today, the political heat wave that we are experiencing, and I'm happy that Wakili Kithi has actually alluded to that the electoral cycle in this country is already on. There's no doubt about that. We're already in July, and we can give it a block of 1 year. Exactly, to elections. 1 year, and for politicians, I know you're salivating for something. I know, Kithi, you're also salivating for something. I know Mheshimiwa Waluka is also salivating for something. So the electoral cycle for you gentlemen and Kenya as a nation is on turbocharge right now. I don't know what you're going to talk about, because let's talk about the Gen Z factor, which is the quite recent one, last week. The Gen Z factor, how is it causing that heat wave to go higher?
It's very simple. I think if my figures are right, I think over 75% of the voters next time will be young people. Over 75%, by the way. So it's a major catchment. Or what we are saying, let's not act like it's the first time we are doing elections in this country. We have had elections. Come on, let people relax. Or what I'm saying, we have so many political parties and what I'd call political formations. Let people be given their time to simply go and campaign everywhere in the country. Let's have something I call political maturity. And that's why I'm against this talk of ethnicity, tribalism in this country. Like Modi Monyarela would say, who talks about tribalism in the 21st century? Right? We want to call, especially, and do you know what? The problem is here. Victor, tribalism is perpetuated, not by the locals, not by Ouma and Ocheng and Kamau who live in one plot. Because the kids go to the same school, they most likely go to the same church, right? They meet in the same residential group. It is leaders. Because they want to, sideline this block, they must talk about tribalism and ethnicity. Let's stop this, because we have come a long way. We are mature people. What I'm urging the people, if you see leaders talk about tribalism from the high up, kindly simply reject, refuse the invitation to hate each other, to hate your neighbor, to hate your person that you know each other as a woman. I went to school. I'm born in a cosmopolitan area called Nakuru. Literally from nursery school, I went with other communities. You cannot cannot come and tell me to hate my neighbor. That is the kind of thinking I want Kenyans to have. Refuse people who begin telling you, oh, wale watu wa kabira, wale watu, so, is it now you have known their table list? You used the table broke to get to power.
Yeah.
Then you come and begin saying, Mount Kenya is tablist. Like, who are you? Like, what are you talking about? Why didn't you say then, no, I don't want to be voted by you guys the way you are organizing yourself? Because you're tablist. Let's go beyond. If you're in government, Victor, simply do what you meant to do. Then the people will like you. The people will elect you back. Okay. Let me take something related to that.
Maybe just welcome Mheshimiwa Sirisi. Mheshimiwa John Waluke. Karibu sana.
I'm sorry I'm late.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Mambo ni mengi ya viongozi.
Karibu sana.
Yeah.
Okay, Daktari.
Yeah, so I can wait up.
Right.
One of the things we are talking about here, for example, is the issue of rule of law. It's simple. We have come a long way. The new constitution, we have come from the other way. If court says you cannot build a state road in a forest, a forest is a forest. You have just come. You found the forest since 1963. It's not you to check the forest. But if you look at the motive of doing the state road, it's because you can, what I call regional balance in state roads. So you want to see, because Sagana is in Mount Kenya West, you must do another east for political reasons. Do we have the money? Capitation is not yet there. We don't have money for basic things like SHA. People are suffering. Is it? But then somebody goes to court. Then you go honorary to say, okay, this one has to go add nonsense. By the way, can we do a culture can we reduce the culture of insults? Especially as leaders. Imagine you are the father. Every day you go home, you are calling everybody stupid and foolish as a father. What does that portend? Look now as a president. Okay. You started by calling people useless. Then another one now, yesterday, Mokomen comes in and begin calling people stupid and foolish. These are the leaders you are supposed to watch.
All right. I ask a question. And Mheshimiwa, John Waluke, how is the Gen Z factor going to affect 2027 election? He's given his side of the debate. And I just want to hear from you, because the political heat wave, a majority of people who will be on the ballot next year are the younger generation. How are they going to influence that?
According to me, it is not much. Because one, these people will not vote because they don't have, most of them, like I've seen in my constituency or my county, they are not registering. That's a very big factor that will affect the Gen Z to vote. There are very few, because some are saying there's no need for them to register. So it is not, they are not going to change as much as people are expecting. Yeah.
But that voting block is so huge, 75%. And members of parliament, you have a big responsibility actually to push them to register voters, because you depend on that vote.
Yeah, we are pushing, but they don't see sense in it, because they say, after all, it is not going to help them. People, leaders are still the same, the way they think, and I've also seen that Ruto is still going to win. Some are thinking like that. So there's no...
So, Mheshimiwa, how does that really make you feel when you hear such sentiments coming from the voters, not from your constituents alone, but Kenyans in general?
To me, it is no problem, because like me,
yes,
I'm for William Ruto. I can say it openly here. And to me, I want Ruto to win. So be it. I don't see anything bad affecting the nation or in one way or another. No.
The thinking of the people like Mheshimiwa always is, them they fear the youth vote. So they would want even not to wake up in the morning, even to register as voters or even have IDs. They would want to suppress that, because they fear any young man or woman who goes to pick an ID and registers as a voter, 90% of the time they will vote for the opposition. That is now, I'm now explain to you the fear that normally is the people of Mheshimiwa. That's what they think. I'm just telling you now.
That is not true.
So they would want even to hear statistics saying
that is your thinking.
They never, we're just doing analysis.
Yeah.
So that's
what your thinking. It is not true.
People like Mheshimiwa, they would rather even not discuss the issue of Gen Zs and millennials. That's where you see they have abducted them. Because they fear the vote.
Oh, that's not the reation why those...
Let me rationalize this, because
yes, Keith.
One of them could be speaking, functional opinions. But let me say this: we have a problem. the problems as understanding democracy. Democracy is one's opinion expressed in a card that gets counted.
Yes.
That's democracy. Democracy is tied with constitutionalism in this country, such as that it becomes a democratic and a constitutional right for you to vote to elect someone. All right? That right first is not enforced. In a certain, meaning it is not a must. One, for you to register as a voter. There's no law that compels you. There's no law that compels you to vote for a certain person or in a certain way.
Yeah.
For instance, a development conscious person is the best person to elect. But I can elect a person because he gave me money, because he's tall like me, because we are partying together, or because he was a classmate. Even if that person is a charlatan, is useless, but I vote uselessness because it is my opinion, all right? Now, you can't help that because Kenyans can vote what they want. Now, the other good spread of that is this, and we can't help it. There must be division for there to be a result.
That's democracy.
All right? That's
yes.
democracy. So the democracy portends this, that we must bias ourselves for and against certain people for us to be able to get a result, meaning there must be division in society, in democracy. So we can't vote by common will, by universal will, of a certain person. We vote because we express different opinions to a certain result. Meaning, therefore, unless there's division in society, there can't be democracy. Suffice it to put it this way, that if I vote ethnically or in any other way howsoever, I'm still within the constitutionalism, the province of constitutionalism. And therefore, we must therefore find as Kenyans, what is the common feature that is expressed in a vote within the terms that we voted, such as that we've had the results that we have, good or bad. And the common feature, the feature that is apparently available for us is ethnicity. We vote ethnically because that's the available emotionalization that we get within the discourse. And why so? It is because it is the common identity, the smallest unit of common identity that we have in society. For instance, when you're born, your identity will be either a Kamba or a Kikuyu or a Maasai or a Giriama or a Taita, right? That becomes common factor, and we put it in law because we identify ourselves as such. Your ID will say as such, your identity, whatever you are, will say as such. If the day comes that is suppressed and something else is highlighted as the fissure in society upon which we identify ourselves towards voting, for instance, class stratification, they have and they have-nots, Muslim, Christians, there are societies that have that. But for now, the identity that we have in an election expressed through the vote is ethnicity. It's ethnicity. And it is right to express yourself ethnically in a vote.
Which is okay. And that is why I'm also asking, when you hear, for example, Mheshimiwa Waluke, you are the chair of the Western Caucus.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
Do you resonate with what he's saying? That ethnically, we vote because of that. That is why Western are saying, you want a deputy president slot? 2022, 2027?
Yeah, we want, yes.
Which, in 2027?
2027, we want to become a deputy, to deputize President William Ruto.
Okay.
Yes.
So, which means you have got the strength.
We have the numbers.
You have the numbers.
Reconciled number we have. Yeah. And in fact, we are the #1 in population in this country now. We have bypassed the Wamunyoro. We have bypassed them.
You see, I mean, it's available.
That's a very good sign language.
It's very available. It's very available to exploit.
Because I'm showing Mount Kenya and
just a minute. Let me just get from Mheshimiwa. Just explain to us here.
Yeah.
From the Western side, and you're saying that you surpassed there.
Oh, yeah.
We understand. But how is it going to play around? Because he's talked about ethnicity. That's number one. Number two, all the other tribes are also talking about we need a slot. So which means you're pushing because of your numerical numbers.
Yeah. You know, politics is local. And he has mentioned.
Yes.
And you have also mentioned about ethnicity. I heard him mentioning. And that will, in this country, I think it will never, it will continue.
Yes.
Because there are tribes that are very much tribalistic, more than more than others. And this, the 2010 Constitution, the way Wakili has said, it has not very much worked the way Kenyans expected, that after the Constitution coming into place, so that the voters have not actually understood this Constitution very well, fully. They are slowly taking it very slowly, and it will take time. And again, you see, Kenyans want to make some amendments in the Constitution. And these are the lawyers who knows very much about it, that there are sections that should be amended, at least to make the Constitution work. Yeah.
Like which one?
There are several. As a lawyer, he can explain.
Okay.
Because there are things in the Constitution that are not right. The way we read it.
It's still a work in progress.
Yeah, it's still a work in progress.
I'm still coming back because you've talked about the Gen Z factor and now the ethnicity. And, you know, politicians will always ride on that because of the number, because of the tribe. And you talked about division, which is, you know, you have a space to vote as per whatever you want. That's your democratic right. So I'm just wondering how this is going to pan out, because when you talk about one tribe surpassing the other, what if that tribe that surpassed the other does not turn out to vote? So what happens?
We are educating our people, not like before. We are telling them, look, we have not been in power for the last 50 years since independence, and they have been in power for the last 35 years. So, and people are understanding, Kenyans are understanding, and even him, he comes from Coast. They understand that it is true that those people have been in power, and others also want to come in power. Okay. So, and it is going to play a very big role, because people are being educated. And I can say it here for free, because you know, even this ethnicity that we are talking about mostly came from those sides. When you had it from the beginning, mulima. So people got the idea.
Tuchukue break. Let's take a quick break. You know, Omami come from some side of this country.
There's something called ethnic chauvinism.
Yes.
Ethnic chauvinism, championing ethnic chauvinism can be negative or positive.
Yes.
Okay. It's available to exploit either way. But
just 2 minutes.
Thank you.
We'll get back.
But in politics, there's also divide and rule. Which
is actually
also
right
a factor.
We'll break back.
Very
Stay
big
with us.
factor.
We'll break back. Stay with us. It's tea time. Karibu sana.
Wakenya, ni wakati mwingine wa kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako. Jiunge na msafara wa KRA Roadshow, uwe fiti mambo ya returns. Tarehe 29 mwezi Juni, msafara wa KRA utadunda Migori Town CBD. Kisha tuingie Rongo Town, tupenyeze hadi Awendo Market, Uriri Stage, Kehancha Market, Isebania Border Point, Kuria Market, Mtimaru Market, Suna Stage, alafu tumalizie Muhuru Bay Market. Tarehe 30 Juni iko mlangoni. Usingoje hadi dakika za mwisho. File KRA returns mapema. Ishi bila stress. Jijue, jibeta. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Spicy challenge there from Perisic. Earns him a yellow card, first yellow of the game.
I didn't think there was an awful lot in that. Ivan Perisic, Fatawu does really well. The ball to him is not great and entices Ivan Perisic into the challenge. Fatawu was just too quick, gets there first. There's not an awful lot of contact. But the Croatian left back has been booked. I'm sure Fatawu just to mark that in the back of his own mind.
All the more reason to run at him, all right. Pleading his case with the referee, Drew Fisher. It's a decision that's not going to be reversed, though.
In a world where news is ever-changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first. You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
All right, welcome back. Joining us on set is Judge Keith, Advocate of the High Court of Kenya, Honorable John Waluke, who is a Member of Parliament representing Sirisia constituency, Daniel Orogo, Political and Governance Consultant, and finally, Dr. Peter Mbai, Secretary, Planning and Economic Affairs, DCP. If you know. Okay. So, Dan Karibu.
The signals. I just saw the signals this morning.
Which is very good.
It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Apologies for arriving late.
No problem.
It's Monday. It's sometimes crazy to get access to here. But it's good to be here this morning.
Okay. So we are just getting to the discussion, and we are talking about the issue and the power of numbers and ethnicity. But I talked about the Gen Z factor. What do you make of that? Let me also get your voice in 1 minute, if you can.
Thank you. And I think we've probably been discussing this throughout. With Dr. Peter Mbai in a space until later 12, discussing the issues around the shrinking civic space. Let me first of all join the rest in condemning the arbitrary arrest of the demonstrators. With some of them, until late last night, we are hearing that they have been, at Kenyatta National Hospital. Guys are being recovered in different parts of this country. So, once again, let me urge that the security agencies that are concerned with containing, that are concerned with, guiding and, ensuring that there's a peaceful protesters' safety, guarantee property and lives. May we ask you that sometimes you really need to consider the value of human life. And I think this is quite important, again, that we have not lost lives. I think it's important also to say that this is a remarkable achievement as opposed to what we saw in the last 2 years in the Gen Z protest in 2024 and its first anniversary in 2025 last year. So one, I think, is just to begin that we need to give the credit where it's due, that the security agencies, in the complicated mix of containment, of guiding, we have not lost a life. However, we've seen still elements of, enforced disappearances, and, and we've seen arbitrary arrests. Some of these things which we need to speak to as the soul of this country. That's safeguarding the rule of law, constitutionalism, and what is guaranteed in Article 37 of the Constitution. Yes. So I think this is important. As of politics, I think I was hearing seniors debating on the value that we still attach to the tyranny of numbers. The conversation around the value that we give to majority, the constituency block that we have as a country. Politics is local, is contextual, and that I agree, that sometimes we have this ideal thinking around, the rule of the democracy, the turnout of voters, and what the voters expect, ideal versus reality. So I think it's quite interesting conversation on set. I'm seeing a number of promises of deputy running mates, presidents. We've seen this country where when it reaches that time, then a number of metrics comes to play. Numbers outplay, experiences are in the table, and a number of things. So it could be interesting to see as the elections begin to shape up. And remember, IBC has given a calendar of the elections. Public servants needs to resign, I think by, is it February next year? So yes, as an election, as a process, we have begun seeing gaining the momentum of election now beginning, to be a process, not just an event.
This is to all of you. Dan, you're running for a seat, right?
Yes, of course.
Mheshimiwa, you're also going to run for a seat. Okay, that's where you are right now, right? Kithi as well.
Yes.
And Daktari here. So all of
But Victor, let me just, if you don't mind.
So the question is, you are literally campaigning. True or false?
True. Yes.
Ish.
No, what do you mean? I mean, like, can I do this?
And why are you saying literally? It's not literally.
Well,
we are campaigning.
What let me tell you. By the way, this issue of public servants who will leave in office in February is too late, because nominations will be in March. By August this year, anybody serious of running for office will have to choose a side, agree which formation by August. I can tell you. Because people will not be waiting for you until December or February to come out. I mean, there are people, of course, they're in office and they are still moving around and they are mobilizing. But let me say this. I feel, as an expert of peace and conflict studies, please, we don't talk about tribes. We don't talk about...
But it's the reality.
Wait. We talk about communities. Now, we make it nice. Regional mobilization. That's what we talk about.
That is
wait. Wait.
I'll talk about it.
No.
Okay, let me tell you.
No, 1 minute. There's something called ethnicity. There is what we call negative ethnicity, and ethnicity can be a good thing. I am what I am born from. It's okay, and there's nothing wrong with what I call regional mobilization, where a community comes together. That is why you see DCP, you not see us fielding candidates in Ukambani. Because there's a party that is predominant in Ukambani, for example. I'm just giving an example.
An ethnic party.
I don't want to go there. I call it a regional party. For me, I want to go regional. I mean, I'm a scholar. I mean,
you said Ukambani.
No. Wait.
That's ethnic.
And that's what I'm telling you. So I talk about there's nothing wrong with regional mobilization for national good. When people mobilize regionally, then they come together. That is why you cannot be a beneficiary of that regional mobilization in 2022. Then you begin coming and saying, people from this region are tribalist. Now, that one, you are falling too low. And I want to give this example. What we are going to see happening now from now, people will come together. Then say, oh, there's something from coast, okay? Either a party, I don't know, whether there's Kadua City or something they want to come up with to the national stage. The rest things will happen. So that finally, people come together. That is the way we organize ourselves as the opposition. I mean, we have respect to people from this region, people from Kisii, people from Masai, people from the larger Western. We have people there and parties there. We come together. Please, let us not... in this century, we don't talk about tribes. We talk about ethnicity, regional mobilization. But please, let us stop.
The word ethnicity, you're trying to give it a tuxedo. You're trying to give it a tuxedo.
Let's
talk. To say something.
Let me explain.
Yes.
When we're theorizing, it's easy. When we're actually facing the ground and explaining ourselves, it's not that easy. Let me explain where I come from. We have issues that are historical. ethnic issues historical. There are pieces and pieces who've taken our land. And they've taken tracts of land and thousands of land. There are even presidents, former presidents, who've taken districts of lands back in the coast.
Kilometers.
And then there are people who've been moved from certain ethnic areas to come and settle in certain places, a whole ethnic group, because that land had to be taken by a certain president, and then they were settled there. You don't want us to discuss that? Let me tell you something. We all belong to our own areas. In fact, we didn't ask to be Kenyans. I didn't ask to be a Kenyan myself.
No.
My community didn't ask to be Kenyan. We were put together in such a geographical convenience called Kenya. And then we started relating. This is the time we're starting to relate. Let us relate until such a time that we have a harmony. Otherwise, we'll relate as tribes. That's what I'm saying. The reason why we have fissures that are tribal in the ecosystem is because we were brought together as ethnic groups. When Kenya was formed, because it never existed, nobody asked to be a Kenyan. We didn't ask to be together with other tribes. We didn't. We were even comfortable with Oman and Zanzibar and ourselves. We were. Then we were told to be Kenyans. Says fine, we're Kenyans because we have a document called a constitution that puts us together.
Yes.
The disharmony is that even the constitution we have did not address the historical issues and problems that we had. The problem is this, that there are certain things that need to be corrected. So that I look at you as my brother. You can't take my land and then you call yourself my brother. You can't. The issue is bring back my land first. So that we're equal.
Okay.
But you can't take my land, partition it into something papers called title deeds, and I live as a squatter, and you want me to be your brother? It won't happen. It doesn't matter whether we de-ethnicize in theory. The fact remains is that ethnicity remains the major feature in areas in this Kenya because of historical issues which cannot go away in this generation. And this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to say. That for purposes of the education we have within a generation called Gen Z, it needs then to move into a generation of leadership such that then their conflict stops from the conflict that is within our common sense now, our minds, so that then they can generate a country within a certain context. Our country is in a certain context, which is tribal fissures ingrained in fact and in law, so that then I will look at you and I won't stop it during elections to look at you the way you are because I know what you can do to me when you go to leadership. Yes. I won't stop that. Because you took leadership before and you did what you did to me, and therefore I can't ignore that.
Which becomes a point of mobilization during electoral period. And I think the problem with our heritage has never been any issue that we have in this country has been canvassed around the issue about the Kenyan, what is the Kenyanese that we have? What is the nation that we have as a country? There's been that conversation, whether as a country, you know, the conglomerations of nations put together, you know, the tribes that contribute something in their own unique way, that has been brought so that we try to de-ethnicize. And I think one of the issues that we really need to discuss, and Dr. Mbai probably Kidi has put it, is everyone is proud around his tribal or their ethnicities because that is a national heritage. Everyone comes from somewhere.
Because you think because every tribe think that they have some strength.
They have a very strong historical background. They have a very strong heritage and cultural backgrounds that need to be maintained. My only problem, Victor, please allow me. My only problem is when we become to weaponize these things to a point where we want to whip it, especially when it comes to polarizing this issue during politics to denote that you see as an ethnic community, as a tribe. You know, you've suffered historical injustices for a long time. And this election is about, you know, those injustices that we need to see. This election is about weaponizing land, weaponize historical injustice, weaponize brutality. That's all along this period, between now to 5 years, it has been, you know, we are together as a country. You know, we are together as Muslims. You know, we are together as
Let him make his point. He's making a good point. Let him make his point.
It becomes a problem, Victor. You know, and that is
let him finish.
Our people versus their people. You know, our community.
And that's politics.
Dr. Mbai is talking about, you know, our communities. And when you look at the sentiments that have been made about communities, it's about our communities against their communities. Our communities have suffered these historical injustices. Is there time they were not voting this way? We were voting that way. Is there time they took this from us? They were taking this. So I think it's a kind of things that we need to de-ethnicize. I keep on saying, when we weaponize to bring conflicts, to incite emotions in communities. That's when the problem that we have. But when we phrase it as
it's okay. In short, what he's saying, it's okay to celebrate culture of community. There's nothing wrong with belonging to a certain ethnic group. The problem starts with tribalism.
Say tribe, not community. Say
no,
tribe.
No.
Say tribe.
At my level,
what level?
I want to talk about ethnic communities. The problem comes when you tribalize.
We are talking about tribal.
But there's something very interesting. Victor, there's something interesting. I would want to hear, because every during election time, when people are elected, I don't see them in the parliament or in Bunge or going to State House to talk about this historical issue. But during campaigns, it comes up. Okay. When you elect me, I'm going to handle the issue. But they have been in government for 4 years. I don't know what they have been doing. They have been in government.
Can I explain?
Doctor, what about the minority?
During campaign time, the issue comes, people took our land. But when you get elected, the people who have been covering now for 4 years, can they tell us what they have done about this issue in cost?
Okay. So now what about the majority, the smaller majority, the quote-unquote, the small majority in this country? Because we all have that, you know. So what happens to them? Wishima, now that you have got numbers in the Western, because you're saying that you have surpassed...
that they have surpassed...
What about... it is better me who was pointing at you and then point at the...
Where are you pointing?
The Mulima. I was pointing at the Mulima.
Majima doesn't know where people... So now the viewer doesn't know you're pointing at me and then...
you, and then I pointed...
This is Mulima.
I was pointing at Mount Kenya and then him. And it is you who started this topic on the table about community.
You are number one.
No, it is,
you have been promised the deputy.
But it is true, yeah.
The deputy president.
We are number one. You know, there's a time you people had a very big family planning, and that is how we bypassed you. But as we speak, we are number one in terms of numbers. And we want the minority, even him, also to benefit.
Where are the statistics?
No, there's no, in politics, there's no Mweshimiwa, you know.
The statistics of you being number one, where are they?
Even the last census, it was just President Kibaki who told Oparanya not to announce. Because the difference was 50,000 around there. So this, about 10 years or so, we are now...
More than 50,000.
More than 50,000. Okay. Yeah, we have surpassed you. And it's the truth. You need to know that.
Okay, can it be used for the advantage of this country? If we have got numbers, if one community has numbers, numerical strength, gentlemen, all of you, can it be used positively for the betterment of the nation when it comes to politics?
Yeah, good question.
It cannot be, because if you have got this number, Olchamus doesn't have a number, they also want to belong.
They are minority, yes.
Exactly. Coast region says that, we have got historical injustice that, has bedeviled them for decades. Can we use the numerical strength that we have as a nation for the betterment of this country? Let me start with you, Dr.
It is very possible, and that's why we are saying we need to rise above. Let the majority, of course, the formations. But once you take government, in whichever formation you come with, this is how we are looking at it. We have numbers in Mount Kenya, we have numbers in Ukambani, we have people who are supporting us in Northeastern, we have people in Coast, Mijikenda. Actually, we have a very big formation about all the communities, that is the word. So when you go to Coast, don't go and say this is a small community. Go and have a sitting and agree, Mombasa or Coast, can we come together, even the smallest number of people, so that they feel they are part of the larger national conversation? I give you an example of Nakuru, for example. We have all the communities living there, and you always pass there, you stop there to say hi to people from Western. Yeah. So what we are saying, yes, we have these communities which, they are called large, but we have other small communities living there. The Maasais of Nakuru are very few. They're about 10,000 voters, but they need to feel they belong. So what do? Finally, you bring them together and say, look here, guys, let's talk about Nakuru here, so that everybody belongs. You mobilize them around, everybody feeling they are part of it. The way you said Baringo and others. Then you come. Once you take power, Mheshimiwa, you swear that the fact that you come from Kikuyu or Kalenjin or Luya, you are not better than the Nchamus or that, Taita in Mwatate. You just come now and make sure everybody feels comfortable. If it's appointment to national government, if it's issue of tenders and jobs, it's a father.
Okay.
It's a father. Then you are called a national leader. There's nothing wrong with belonging to a nation. But when you become power, exactly, as an MP or an MCA, go and look, be a father, make sure everybody, every part of the country or whatever, when you're on the table, you come and say, Coast, look here, doesn't matter, you're part of this country. Can you come up, bring that title to come and sit at the national table? Because there are people there, both at the county government and the national. That's what I would look at myself. But the issue of being produced, let me tell you, the deputy Mheshimiwa that you have been promised, let me tell you, one MP in Kirinyaga has been promised DP, one governor in Kirinyaga has been promised. We have the sitting one minister right now has been promised in Western. There is one governor who has been promised in Nyanza. There is one minister who has been promised in Coast.
Okay. As we are demanding, we have not been promised.
You are demanding?
We are demanding that the running mate or the deputy should come from Western. Nobody has promised us. But I want to remind you that you are speaking this about tribal. I want to remind you that you have benefited more for the last 50 years more than him, me, and him. In terms of everything, land, you know, you have everything. He doesn't have. He doesn't have. We don't have. And it is you. Now you are trying to advocate, to silence us for your own benefit, because you have gained for all those years. You have been in leadership for the last 35 years. We have never been. And you know,
I've been myself.
Power is sweet. I've been pointing at the mountain. And that's what you are saying. Let's not talk about tribal.
Yes.
That we talk about community.
That is it.
But tribal will never stop in this country. Yeah. It will continue. Okay. We'll continue mention it, and we want to remind. And that's why he's reminding you about the past. And this is now going on.
Whipping emotions around campaign time around issues and saying you have been, we have not been. Where have you been?
We have been.
Emotions have to be there. I mean, elections are emotive.
Suppressing us.
Elections are emotive. We have to be emotional. You know, we're talking about a very serious issue.
You are suppressing us. Down.
Elections are serious.
Time has come.
You asked a very, very important question. Is there a way that we can be able to detribalize?
In fact, let's use Kenya as a community.
Kenya as community. Yes, Kenya is a diversity of Kenyans, of course. That makes it.
It is a community.
It's of course a community.
It is a community. It is not a community.
It probably its diversity is reflected on the nations that we have and the tribes and ethnicities, and that's why I'm saying the complex diversity that we have in Kenya as a community. Now, if we were to ask how then do we deal with that, so that we try to tribalize it from a community, because you say Kenya as a community, I'm looking at it. You see, one of the issues that we've canvassed, and there was a very important document that we lost, and like we threw the baby with bathwater. This document that was called the Building Bridges Initiative. There's a lot of critical proposals in terms of opening space so that communities would be ushered into the state of governance. I'm avoiding to use the word tribes and ethnicities, as we talked about. That document envisioned that even though the Constitution, you know, as it is, still, you know, dictates that there is a tyranny of numbers. That is the excesses of democracy that we have. The reality we have is that the majority will have their way, and the minority will still have their say. That is the document that we have. That a president will be elected by a simple majority. Like it or not, that is the context that we are. But even in doing that, it acknowledges that the people that will be aggrieved, you know, those who have lost the election, or those who might not have made it there. So how then would we ensure that these communities would be brought to this community called Kenya, so that even if they lose, they will still be celebrating that we have, you know, we have a stake here. And that is why they were saying that could we have, for example, that we expand this judiciary? Can we have probably more than one deputy president, for example, so that we accommodate the people from Lima and accommodate, you know, people from Taita and from Mount Kenya? And so we lost it in elections. We lost it in conversations. Number two, that we still, I still believe and I still hope that Kenya as a community, we can still discuss a matter of historical injustice seriously post-election. That we can still look at injustices that was made in different sectors of this country. Do they have historical injustices that people of Saboti are still talking about? People of, Wajir and Taitas and the Luos. So one of the problems that we keep sharing about is that when we mention addressing historical injustices, is that we are targeting a certain community. No, it is a national conversation that we should have. We should look, especially that we're having reports that are shelved in the TJRC reports, NCSC talking about the issue of integration. Could we then begin, the next government, probably after post-election period, could we then begin to address Enyewe? It's time that we talk about it, so that we address that remedy before 2032.
I want to take a break because you all have cups of tea. Mimi Sina, and I'm the host.
This is very serious.
This is very serious. I want to take a break. But I want to introduce something about the new political formations, because we are yet to see more ahead of the election. So, this tribe or this community or this group is going to unite with this. Men are going to have coffee. Friends are going to meet at some point. So let's talk about the political formations that we are yet to see. Some are going to fall off the way. We are going to start forming new friends along the way. Mheshimiwa is going to have new friends. And you say they're supporting who in Bungoma, gubernatorial race?
Team Wanyonyi.
Okay.
Not Didmas.
No.
Okay. Let's take a break. Stay with us.
I thought you were supposing Didmas.
No.
Are you ready for the next big thing in tech? Well, we'll spotlight Kenya's brightest young minds, game-changing startups, and breakthrough technology that are shaping our future. From AI and robotics to sustainable futures, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
Pindi tunapowasha vifaa vyetu, tunapata fursa ya kutangamana na wasikilizaji wetu.
Karibu sana thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya Rwiga.
Tunapeperusha utangazaji uliobobea katika habari,
nĩ ũndũ wa macio na mangĩ maingĩ,
burudani,
haha nĩ harĩa tũkoragwo tũkĩigua nyĩmbo mwaki nyĩmbo hot,
na hamasisho la kiroho. Usiachwe nyuma. Jiunge nasi kwa safari ya kufana katika 99.5 FM. Shoro FM.
We don't do title list for ourselves. We don't walk up today and change the constitution. It's the government.
Ndio nasema mmekuwa kwa gava hiyo.
And it doesn't take away the fact.
But mmekuwa miaka mingi.
That land was stolen.
Okay.
It doesn't take away the fact.
Jipangeni tukutane kwa jamii.
No. It doesn't take away the fact.
No. There's no whatever. Watu waje kutetemeka mapema bwana. Hiki ndio tumepanga.
The show continues. The show continues.
We want people to relax. Victor. We are going
to welcome back to the show. Welcome back. Now, I think let's just move from that. Let's talk about the political formation. So we have got coalition fractures right now, gentlemen. In the next 20 minutes, if possible, we are going to have high-profile political figures repositioning themselves. Some are going to, have coffee in the evening and formations here and that. We've seen that happening in the country in the past. So, Wakili, we'll look at this way. We have got some campaign happening right now, the broad-based coalition right now, the government, as it is. If it happens so until 2027, of course, there is the other side of, the active opposition. What are we going to see likely towards 2027? Because we have got only two positions right now. Is it going to be a two-horse race, or is it too early to predict?
No, I think the dominance will be constant towards and to the elections. The realization that political parties are tribal in Kenya is the reason why we had to domesticate it into a law, such as then we manage that situation. The political parties agree on two levels of memberships. The first is a Kenyan can be a member of a political party,
yes,
and the political party can enter into a coalition and have another party that becomes the umbrella that holds the other small parties. The realization, therefore, is acknowledgement that when political parties are dominant in terms of their organization, yes, they represent certain ethnic interests. For instance, you'll see that there's a political party national in nature, but its dominance is in Central, it's in Ukambani, it's at the coast. Talk about Kadwasili, for instance, talk about Wiper, talk about the several Mlima parties that we've always had them, Western, the Ford, and the likes. Now, when these are not organized into one national unit, then we have the dominance of political, ethnic political interests that surpass the national interest. For you to have a national interest, these parties have to be brought together, and therefore that's why we had in the last election the birth of the two dominant political formations of Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. Now, that is the same reorganization that we see today, where you see a party dominant in a certain area or region or community is in, let me say, in romantic political relationship with another in terms of setting up the agenda, national agenda, but putting the interest of the communities together. So then we are able to drive a nationalistic debate as opposed to an ethnic polarized debate. And that's good, at least to that extent, in theory. Now, when we get to the table, we then have a national outlook in terms of the tribal mobilization for both areas. Like I said, there'll be two dominant areas of mobilization. The measure that is pro-government and the measure that is pro-opposition. When these are formed, then we go into very close competition. At the end of the day, the separation will be very small on account of the ethnic mobilization for national outlook and interest in that respect.
Very, very good. Okay, let me just cut you short. But is it possible to have, Mheshimiwa, currently we have got 93 fully registered political parties in Kenya, 93. Yes. And probably some, the registered political parties that probably still actively, in the process of registering more. So we'll have more than, but 93 political parties. In the States, in South Africa, we have got only 2. All right? Is it possible to have that in Kenya? Because Wakili's talked about, when you talk about this particular region, the KADU, ODM is being associated with, the other side of... But is it possible to have only 2 political parties in the country and survive?
It is possible either or not. Like, let's say, as we speak, President Ruto has tried to unite ANC, already joined UDA. And Fort Kenya as well is almost entering. And par. Yeah. So at least Ruto is already prepared. President, he knows what he's doing, and he has seen ahead of other parties while they are not organized. And that's why he always says that they are not organized. Because as we speak, the opposition is divided into 2. The Sifuna and the... so you see there's a problem.
Yes.
And there's no time. time is of essence. We are remaining only with around 7 months to election, to unite. They will take time, and already UDA, ODM, ANC, Fort Kenya, PA, they are already moving ahead. So, yeah, you can argue either or not, but that is the way. So, as we speak, there is no strong opposition in this country. Some are even thinking of looking for President Ruto, and they are in opposition.
Who are these?
In the night, they try to. Don't deny. In this country, I'm telling you. You wear interesting disclosure. You can see someone amefanya council with the.
Who are these having coffee? Who are
He's not a Muslim, but Jioni amefanya as a Muslim, trying to.
Who are they?
For food.
Are you one of them?
Yeah.
Who are they?
Me, I'm already in the. Why asking me that if I'm one of them? How? I'm in the government. I'm a supporter of Ruto. Yeah. There are only two parties, as I know, ODM and UDA, and I'm in one of those. Yeah?
But the people we are trying to say that, they all deny that it was allegation that they are not moving.
Yeah, they are, but they try, They try. They try to.
Okay.
Interesting. It's a signal from.
Victor.
That's why opposition is weak.
Opposition.
Let me first of all,
opposition.
From the
and that's important. It's material disclosure.
I mean, those are theories, but okay. And by the way, we have no problem. If you want to go, if you want to go at night, by the way, this is a freedom place. They cannot arrest you.
It's quite interesting just to know. Why would you not know which opposition figures want to cross over?
So you want to tell me Mheshimiwa is the one who knows who
Just a minute.
And it's okay.
I think Dr. is in denial.
Yes.
Who are these people who are trying to speak during the day and the evening whenever council? Just clear. Dr. is in denial.
Not now. Maybe next time when I come.
It is a very, very, very crucial.
Which crucial thing now?
No, that's material. It's material. It's material.
Let me say
that disclosure is material. It's material.
Those who are putting on hijabs and visiting the government in the night, and then during the day they are posturing as opposition figures. Why would we not know as the people who are interested to know exactly what opposition is doing?
You are patiently
It seems Mbai is one of them.
I don't know why. But
why are you so hard?
Would you refuse if you would you refuse?
Let me tell you. First of all, let me just take it this way. We have no problem with anybody who thinks they can be with us during the day. We have no problem because in the due time,
very good.
Very soon we will know.
So
I don't know. I mean, these are theories. I'm just saying these are theories. Why? Let me ask you. Do you know there are many people who come at night saying, "Please, I'm in October, I'm going to cross over from Ruto's government to the opposition." Do you know? They are there, but we are saying, I will not talk about people who go at night.
From where?
Me, I'm waiting from government. People, even sitting in peace. What do you mean?
Daktari,
at the mountain, yes.
Daktari and Major Waluke seems to know these people.
No.
Gigi and I,
but my point is, but my point is, let people continue talking because even Konebas we visited Jesus at night because for many reasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
But finally, what we want, for me, as a top official of DPC and the technical team member of the United Opposition,
it is DCP.
It's DCP. Now listen, what me I'm interested is the day finally you make a decision. Come on top, wear a cap, we move.
Okay.
All these other things are okay. Me, I don't mind.
Victor,
very good.
We are waiting for somebody to come out.
Let me disclose. Let me try to understand why. Well, Luke says that there is no strong opposition. Could we debunk that? Because I think that
is important.
That we cannot let it slide.
Yeah.
That we have an opposition that is disjointed. Let us really try to understand, you know, the mechanics around the opposition politics as we talk about Major Waluke. The opposition politics is gravitating towards having a one united candidate. Daktari, this is what I keep on saying.
Which is not possible.
Why is it possible?
Let him talk, man. He's on the floor, man.
It is important. It is important, Victor, to state that while we are seeing the same gravitation in government, how many times have we seen the the ODM in itself saying that we have one ODM that is Linda Mwananchi, the other one is Linda Ground, right? We have seen, and ODM is in, we cannot conclusively say that we have an ODM that is in government.
Exactly.
And that we have people from Nyanza and people from Western who have said that we will 100% vote for the government of the day. We can't conclusively say that. The same way we can't conclusively say that we have, you know, we are seeing an opposition there. So let me begin to say this, and let me be on record. The doubters are doubting whether they will be united opposition. They will be a united opposition with one candidate.
No.
They will be with one candidate.
No.
And what you're seeing around is normal. Any other
it is his opinion. Why is Mwashima saying no? It's somebody's opinion.
No, but he must be supported.
We have seen.
That's what he's doing.
Let him support.
Recently, you doubted whether Honorable Justice Emeritus Maraga could have a conversation with Matiang'i. Was that until recently there was a conversation, right or wrong? Okay? There had been a conversation doubting whether Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, Honorable Fred Matiang'i, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua could unite and have a conversation. That has been happening. Yes, that no, it's okay. That has been happening.
No.
And these are elements that tells you that within a given period of, just like the way government, you know, those who are affiliated to government, governors, you know, Honorable Gladys Wanga, Honorable Opiyo Wandayi, Honorable who and who, they're still conversing whether to have it, you know, whether to support this, you know, to be given a deputy or not. It is an important conversation that is happening in every quarter, whether it's in opposition or whether it's in government. There is jostling around that is important.
Okay. And Victor,
for any other political affiliation. You cannot pinpoint that we have a united government.
All right.
But still,
the answer is not obvious.
The answer is not obvious. I'll tell you this. Let me just tell you this.
There is no united opposition.
Within time, that will be united.
Yes, but for now, there's no united.
Why do you want us to be united now? For what?
We don't want.
Why do you want us to be united?
Nobody wants. Nobody wants.
It is our business to be united at the right time.
Yeah, I agree.
We are not going to announce any presidential candidate anytime soon.
That's okay.
That in March, April next
That's okay.
year.
But to the question whether there's united opposition now, the answer is yes. There's no united opposition now. That's the answer.
Let me ask you, why do you want us to be united? For who? We are being united for ourselves. Why do you want us to be united? Okay, what is unity? What is unity?
That's what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, I don't know why people are in a hurry.
Daktari,
but the issue the issue of unity of the opposition is
because already we are out of time. Director added us 15 minutes.
Oh,
we're supposed to be out by 8.
No, but let him answer the question. Let him answer the question.
What question?
As to whether there's united opposition or not.
Okay.
The question Wakil wants me to answer is very simple.
We're out of time. We're out of time. Director says that we're out of time. But the question I'm asked here, that you are supporting Team Wanyoni. This is a specific question. You are supporting Team Wanyoni, an ODM candidate, and you are in UDA.
No problem. UDA is ODM. ODM is UDA.
No, ODM will end up in the opposition.
ODM is UDA.
No, ODM will end up in the opposition.
Do you have a stand? Do you have a stand in Bungoma? Do you have a stand?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
What is your stand?
You know, I'm the chairman of the Western Parliamentary Caucus. Yeah. And I'm the one who is unifying the people on the ground. Bungoma is my county. And I know I've been a chairman of several parties, right from ODM, Jubilee, UDA. I know the people of Bungoma, and they hear me also as well. So I know that Team Wanyoni, and you can write it, you can quote it somewhere. We are here, all of us, and you are going to come to Parliament.
No, Wakil will help us with other stuff.
Join me. Wakil is here. That Team Wanyoni is the next governor of Bungoma. That one is for sure.
I mean,
without any dispute or anything.
One thing I can tell
you. Team Wanyoni. who is coming.
For sure?
For sure, 100%.
Not Didmas.
No. That's nothing. What is that? Didmas can't. You know, he was running alone for the last 3 years.
Okay.
But now, he's reading Tim Wanyonyi from behind.
What will happen? I can tell you, I don't see Ford Kenya dissolving the way ANC did. I don't see PA, I don't see Motua's Mandela Chap. Those are the issues that will come. Wait in August. People begin aligning. I don't see Etangura Forudin. The way ANC...
The gentleman talking is Dr. Peter Bai. He's the Secretary Planning and Economic Affairs DCP Party. Gentlemen, you know, when you start talking politics, we can speak until evening.
Call us
gets
again.
interesting.
Call us again.
I will do that, sir.
Yeah,
I will do that.
Again.
It gets interesting by the day.
Yeah.
Daniel Orogo, asante sana, political and governance consultant. We have got George Kithi. He's an advocate with the High Court of Kenya.
Victor, give us justice when you're introducing us. We are vying in the positions that we are vying.
Oh, yes. Daniel Orogo in Kibra.
For the second time.
For the second time.
Wow.
Mheshimiwa Sirisia, representing the good people there in Bungoma, he said, that's tough declaration.
No, it is true.
Okay.
Yeah, it is true.
Mheshimiwa Major John Waluhe, asante sana for coming. Wakili George Kithi and Daniel Orogo. And Peter Mbai. Okay, that's
all
where
these people, all of us as we are here on this table, at the end, they are going to support William. Okay, I know from their language. I can.
This is an agent. All right, let's cross over to Kisumu. Just a minute, let's go over to Kisumu. Wycliffe Okech is standing by. Wycliffe, good morning. Wycliffe?
Well, good morning, Victor. What a heated conversation.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Very insightful. Politics must be a very interesting topic, eh? But right about now, let us just shift the gears and come to the lakeside city of Kisumu. And the Good Morning Kenya show, of course, continues, and the segment on air right about now is the Western Spectrum. Remember, this is your favorite segment that brings you insightful discussions on various topical issues that are most relevant to the western part of Kenya. And this morning, we want to talk about the plight of childcare workers or childcare service providers, if you like so. And the guest that I already have with me here, that is one Beatrice Atieno Juma, who is a childcare service provider or a childcare worker. And of course, I have also Billy Otieno Otolo, who is the programs officer at at an organization or an NGO called Coalition on Violence Against Women. And like I mentioned, this is the conversation that we're going to have for the next 40 minutes borders on some of the challenges that bedevil the childcare service providers in the country at large. My name is Wycliffe Okech, and just to kick it off, Beatrice, even look into the camera and say hello to our viewers and just give us a bit of your story. How long have you been in this service?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Beatrice Atieno Juma. Initially, I've been working as a child caregiver for many years. And it has not been easy at some points because I met some challenges. And I ignore them because I'm working there for the source of income. At the same time, I develop real passion for taking care of children on their well-being and growth. Yes.
So initially, let's say it is the need for money that pushed you to work as a child care service provider.
Yes, it's because of source of income. Because back at home there, I have my family, I have my kids, and I'm supposed to take good care of them too. So I must work to get that money to pay for their school fees and everything. Yes.
Your mother and your children have to go to school, and this is the only means of income that you focus on to get money to pay for the school fees.
Yes. Yes. This is what I'm doing to pay their school fees, to give them everything they need in life.
Oh, yes. What's been your experience? So you said, how long have you been in this service?
Almost 4 years.
4 years. How has been the experience?
we go undergo through many challenges. Most you find maybe I'm taking care of a child and the mother, maybe payment is too low. The mother don't give enough money, and it's give me hard time to take care of this child.
Is a child care service provision, or rather being a child care worker, comes with some sort of perception or some sort of stigma. Is it something that has occurred to you?
Yes, it has occurred to me, but most of the time I assume it, being that this is where I'm getting my source of income, and I have that passion of doing it.
That you've been in this sector, you've developed passion for caring for children.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Tell us. Tell me it.
Most of the time, you know, when I'm with your child just follow my steps. Like it is being said that, let me say in Kiswahili, mimi ndio role model to this child. Whatever I'm doing, this child will do. So you find that sometimes I'm given a small child who is not even walking or crawling. He or she will learn from me. Then from there, she will even know how to talk from me. So I can say that most of the time I find it easy to associate with young kids.
Apart from stigma, what other challenge do you face as a child care worker?
Most of the challenge, there are so many, because so many people take this job as kazi ya wenye wajasoma most, and also they see it as a low-paying job, so they wanaidharau sana.
Otolo, yes. The organization you work with has been at the center of coming to the, building support systems for people like Beatrice here, rather what I can call them the child care service providers. What sort of, just briefly tell us about this organization, briefly, even as you say hello to our viewers, and then we get to move from there.
Okay, thank you very much, Wycliffe. My name is Tolubili Otieno. I work for the Coalition on Violence Against Women, which is abbreviated as COVAW. COVAW is a national women rights organization that exists to champion the rights of women and girls. And currently we are implementing a project called Action for Paid Childcare Sector Transformation that is funded by the Global Affairs Canada, and the project is implemented by COVAW in Kenya, here in Kenya, and there's another organization in Malawi that is implementing Malawi. And then we also have a lead partner, that is the World University Services of Canada. So in Kenya, we are the implementation area is Nairobi, Kisumu, and Kakamega. So the project is anchored on 5 main pillars, which is awareness on rights of these paid childcare workers, and also we also do a lot of trainings and capacity building. And then there's also another pillar which is on strengthening ecosystem actors, whereby now we put these childcare workers into collectives, because once they are in groups, they are able to learn from each other, share the challenges that they have, and then from there they're able to get support. And then there's another pillar which is business support system, so that they are able to have access to financial services. And then also there's another pillar which is advocacy and policy. So those are some of the key areas that we, the project seek to intervene.
As we speak, how many childcare workers do you handle as an organization?
As an organization, we have a database of the childcare workers, and in our database we almost there are around approximately 10,000. So those are people that we've been able to reach out through the project. And just as the way she has mentioned, there are a number of challenges that they are facing, and we conducted a capacity capacity needs assessment, and based on that capacity needs assessment, we are able to identify that 88% of the childcare workers worked without formal contracts. And then another gap is that 70% have not received trainings on how to respond to issues of SGBV, and then 59% are not aware of the existing policies regarding the childcare work.
And cuts across Kisumu, Kakamega, and Nairobi, the counties that you operate in.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And as an organization, you've mentioned as an organization, you build capacity building, or rather develop support systems for Beatrice and her peers. Specifically, in which ways has your organization actually come to the aid of childcare workers in the 3 counties that you've mentioned?
Yes, so how we come to the aid of the childcare workers, first of all, we strengthen the capacity of the grassroots organizations, the ones that are dealing with these childcare workers directly. Because you see, as COVA, we are not able to, because most of the domestic workers work in the private homes, and through that we are not able to have that conversation. So once we have the collectives able to convene, they have the power to convene, bring them together. So we work through the collectives, and in Nairobi we are working with a body called Domestic Professional Association of Kenya, and then in Kisumu we are partnering with Pamoja CBO, and then in Kakamega we also have another organization called Kakamega Widows Empowerment Program.
So this organization, what do they do specifically?
So this organization are women rights organization, and they have platforms where they engage with these domestic workers, and then they also have some interventions that are targeting the childcare workers. So that's why even before we onboard them, we are able to do benchmark, and then from there we are able to identify those organizations that are closely aligned with the work that we do.
Before I come back to you, we know that it is the challenges, rather it is the challenges that actually exist in sectors, in specific sectors, that move the policymakers actually to come up with policies that address such challenges. And Beatrice, like we mentioned, you talked about stigma, and you talked about basically stigma, but then now moving on to the remuneration or the payment of childcare workers. The minimum wage in Kenya is about 16,000, 18,000. Is that the amount that childcare workers in Kenya actually receive?
No. It is not actually, because most you find that when you're going to ask for a job, you will be told that as you work as a domestic worker, someone will tell you that I want to give you 6,000. Then he or she will tell you this, I have a little work in my house. When you go there, you will find the work is too much and that amount is too little. Then there are some places like when you get, you're being paid 10,000 or 9,000, you can't even sleep in that house. Yes. And as childcare workers, most of them are paying 100 shillings a day here in Kisumu, which is too little. And that one, if you have like around 10 kids, it is not working out. It is too little.
Hold it just right there. Otolo, when we come back, we'll just take a very short break. When we come back, I want to ask you, according to your findings and research, what do you find most childcare workers, the amount they get, they receive? You'll answer that question when we come back from this very short commercial break that we are taking. Remember, the Good Morning Kenya continues. On the segment on air right now is the Western Spectrum. Let us take that short break. We are back shortly.
tunapowasha vifaa vyetu, tunapata fursa ya kutangamana na wasikilizaji wetu.
Karibu sana thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya Rwiga.
Tunapeperusha utangazaji ulobobea katika habari,
Nĩ ũndũ wa macio na mangĩ maingĩ,
burudani,
aha nĩ harĩa tũkoragwo tũkĩigua nyĩmbo mwaki nyĩmbo hota,
na hamasisho la kiroho. Usiachwe nyuma. Jiunge nasi kwa safari ya kufana katika 99.5 FM. Shoro FM.
Show continues, and if you're just joining us, it is the Western Spectrum segment that is currently on air, and the discussion we are having here is borders on the plight of childcare workers in the country. And I have my able guests here. One is a childcare provider, Beatrice, and a programs officer at Kovao, that is one Mr. Otolo. Then Otolo, before this short break, I'd asked you a question regarding some of the findings according to a researchers organization. What is the average amount that childcare service providers, or rather childcare workers or domestic workers, as you may call them, how much averagely, how much do they receive from their employers?
Averagely, based on the research that we conducted, majority are ranging between 6 to 10,000, which is far much below the minimum wage that they're supposed to be getting.
6 to 10,000. Actually, that is way below, like you mentioned, way below the average, the minimum wage in the country. And what is contributing to this? Is it that the childcare workers, the domestic workers, are not aware of the amount they should receive, or it is the employers just decide to pay that amount?
The reason as what the main factor that is contributing to this, I think is something that we already mentioned, is about the perception that the perception that people have that this is more or less of women work. So they believe that it is something that women can do it naturally as virtue of doing and giving back. And that's what we came to realize, that childcare work is being done as part of economic income, and therefore it should be valued, it should be recognized, because there are those women that are doing it as part of a business. And now we are sending a message outside there that this should be viewed as an issue of economic empowerment and not just as a matter of charity.
About the criticality, or the critical role that childcare provision, service provision, how does it impact the economy? What aspect of the economy does it contribute to?
Yes, it has a very great multiplier effect to the economy, and it's actually the backbone of the economy, because that you find that it enables parents, most of the women, to be able to engage into productive activities. Because if I'm just trying to imagine a situation whereby there was no domestic workers at home, and even the daycare centers, most women today, and even men, could have not been seated in their offices today. Maybe if I may ask that, how many could have been in the offices seated? We could be having very few people seated in the office, and if there could be, then very few. Or maybe somebody could be in the office, and then he or she will be like, I have an emergency back at home. Maybe the child has has played with a sharp object, or maybe caught fire or something. So these domestic workers or childcare work is very critical to the economy, because it enables parents to be able to participate actively in economic development.
There's every need actually to recognize this job as, childcare work as real work that should be compensated equally. Sure. All right. Earlier you mentioned that when a potential employer comes to you, mentions to you that they need your service and they're going to pay a certain amount for some sort of work in the house there, but then when you move there, you find that maybe the scope of work has expanded. Do you try to renegotiate your payment?
Yes, when you try to negotiate, he or she will tell you that you already come here because you need this work. And if you can't work, you rather leave because that is the amount I can pay you. And if you can't accept it, you just leave, then I look for another person. Yes.
You're pushed to that end, what do you do as an individual?
When you are pushed to that, because you need this money and this is what you're depending, it will force you just to work, yet you're overworking yourself. Yeah.
Overworking yourself for little pay. So how do you intend to navigate all this? Because you mentioned you've been in this service for 4 years. How do you navigate it all?
Oh, like when I'm working in the house, I usually say to myself that it is, sometimes it is a point I say, he's not a must I do that work in that house. I have to look for another place where it considers me, because you find sometimes we work until late night. So if I find such a place, I usually be there as I look for plan B. Yes.
Something that you only do in that meantime, even as you plan to move on to the next.
Yes, because you know you can't be somewhere whereby you don't have maybe peace, you don't have enough time to sleep. A human being must also have enough sleep. Yes.
Otolo, many a times we've seen the government issuing directives for minimum wage payment to informal workers like childcare workers. But then the employers are tend to be reluctant in terms of implementing this directive. What more should be done?
I think the reason that's why maybe perhaps employers might be relaxed is because there's also the question of the issue of question on affordability. Will the employers be able to afford? And there are many cases whereby you'll find that even the interns, some interns are being paid even below the minimum wage. So, and if maybe you ask yourself, will they be able to pay more than what they are earning? So I think this approach needs a kind of multi-stakeholder kind of an approach, where we need to look at it in terms of a bigger picture, whereby now we call for the government to be able to invest in quality childcare, because if the government allocate more resources to be able to invest and see childcare work as not a cost, rather than instead it should be viewed as a social infrastructure for development, because when we invest in childcare, children thrives, women thrives, community thrives, and even economy grows.
Beatrice, from stigma to low wage payment, there is also the challenge of harassment that is quite rampant actually in this sector of domestic work. Is it something that has you've come alive with?
At these places we are working in, or taking care of people's children, there are so many challenges and harassment we are going through, as I said before, because sometimes when a mother leaves her child, when she comes back, maybe she didn't bring enough like things like Pampers and wipes. It will force you to go back to your pocket. When you tell her they were not enough, she will tell you, you use them for your kids, or where did you take them? Why you always bring wipers, bring Pampers, whereby she doesn't know that these things are just helping her child. And mostly in these houses, sometimes it is by a mistake that a glass fall down. That woman will always shout for you. You will know that I'm so from CIA County. Yeah? You will face the conflict. Yeah, so it's not easy.
How do you handle this as an individual?
Me personally, as I work, I usually say that as I work for someone, I just be there because I need money, and with my due respect, I'll just be quiet. She will just shout, and at the end of the day, she'll be quiet because what should I do? And I'm in her house. I can't fight her because she's my boss. Yes.
For the sake of money.
At some point, I will tolerate, but if she goes beyond, I'll leave because something bad can happen. You can't fight. So I'd rather live working at that place. Yes.
Days?
No, like in domestic work, if you want to tell that the owner of the house that I need a rest, she will tell you then, if you want to go, just go. I'll bring in another person. A job. Yes.
So to the employer equals to you leaving the job?
Yes. Yes, most of them. Like when I say that I want to go to the village to see my kids, she will tell you it's okay, you go. And when you're called back, my office, my boss, can I come back? She will tell you no, you'll be replaced by another person who was in need of this job.
Okay. Watola, no rest days, low payment, and there is a harassment. The 10,000 workers that you handle, is this something that you've observed among them?
Yes, because we normally have community dialogues where we normally bring these childcare workers together for them to be able to share some of the challenges that they are facing, and then we also bring in the legal experts who are able to train them to create awareness for them to be able to understand their rights. So these are some of the issues that we are really coming out from these engagements. And this is something that we really wish to push everyone be able to create a lot of sensitization and awareness for them to be able to understand some of these rights, because if they don't know, that's when even these things happens, but because of just for them not being aware. So once they are aware, then they're able to know, even be able to their capacity build, so that they're able to seek help where it's necessary. And then we are also engaging planning sessions where we can also engage the employers to be able to understand the benefit of having contracts. When they are engaging the domestic workers, they should be able to know their rights, like they are entitled to rest days and also even leave. And also we are trying to also advocate for even for them to be able to pay for them the social security, like the health cover, like the National Health Insurance Fund. This is something that is affordable. Wycliffe health, so it is something that is affordable. So there are some of the things that we need to engage the employers to be able to actualize, so that, because these people, they are help, somebody that you trust with your property, you trust with your kid, and even at some point you go to work, you leave this person alone to be able to nurture this child. So why should you recognize this person and also ensure that this person also will be able to recognize, pay her or him what she deserves based on the services that she is offering. Yeah, so this is something that is achievable.
So you hold sensitization forums for employers on domestic work.
Yes.
And what is their response?
Okay, yeah, we've already conducted dialogues with the domestic, with the childcare providers. Now we are planning to begin engagements with the employers, maybe that is beginning next month, so that we're able to sensitize them, for them to also able to understand the need for them to be able to consider the welfare of the domestic workers and even the childcare workers that they have.
Beatrice, Otol has mentioned some critical aspect on health care, health insurance. You are in this particular household providing childcare service. Do you have an insurance cover? Is it the SHA or the private one?
No. I don't have, because when I told my boss that I need this thing, she will not be able to pay for it. She tells me that if you go for it, then I will deduct your salary to pay for you the health cover. Yes.
Okay. So what happens when you fall ill, unfortunately?
When I fall ill, I just treat myself. Yes, several times. So it forced me to go for health cover by myself. So I have to pay it on my own.
And now that a formal contract when engaging in this particular service, so that a contract that includes even health insurance, yes? All right. There's a critical question that I need to know, because they say there is power in numbers. So do you probably have a particular group that encourages you to speak up against some of the challenges that you face as an individual?
Yes, we have organization which is COVA, and
other than COVA, just a particular group for the healthcare workers?
No. We didn't have before. Yes. And when COVA comes, we are some of the people, domestic workers who were picked up, and it has brought us together to talk on our problems and to know our rights. And this COVA has also teaches us to know that when we went to request for a jobs, we should have agreements. Yes, because I personally, when I went to ask for a job, I didn't always have a written document or agreement. Yes, with my boss, I just go there. Then, as we agreed through words, then I start working. When things goes upside down, I have nowhere to go, because when I have that agreement, I can. When I have issue on payment, I can follow the law, then find out how I can get my salary. Yes.
So, you are engaged on a contract?
No, not yet.
Or it's just still the agreement by word of mouth?
Yes, it's still by the word of mouth, but hopefully soon I will have that written agreement.
I want to know, being involved with COVA, this organization, and you mentioned that you do not have rest days. So when do you find time actually to get sensitization, or rather to benefit from the sensitization forums that COVA offers?
When I want to go for a meeting with COVA, I actually tell my boss that tomorrow I'll work. I can even work during night time, so that in the morning at around 9, I go sit with the COVA, then again leave back home. Because when we sit with COVA, we don't take much time. It's around 1 hour, then I'll be back.
Okay. Billy, there is a question I needed to know about harassment. The harassment manifests in various phases for the domestic workers. Which ones have you come across?
We've come across the issues of physical harassment in terms of beatings, and also we also come across SGBV as well as sexual, and also even the issues of working, being forced, domestic workers being forced to even work for very long hours, even without rest. So these are some of the issues that have been channeled to us, and we are able to address some of these issues. We have a pro bono advocates that provide legal aid to these child care providers, And also we have counselors who are also be able to also offer counseling, psychosocial support, and also we also do referrals of some of these related cases. There are also instances on the daycare, several instances whereby even their children are being abandoned. You take a child to the daycare, and then apparently you are not able to show up to come and collect the kid. Then if you have the kid past the agreed time, then that also becomes another case, because you're not supposed to have somebody's child without the normal agreed time. Then there's also an issue of maybe we also be able to train these domestic workers, because at some point somebody can come to the daycare and then bring to you a child when he's sleeping. Then you may not know even the condition of that child. So the child care providers, the daycare centers, child care providers have now been capacity built, and now they are aware, even if they have been brought for a child that is asleep, they have to wake that child up so that they confirm if that child is really in good health. And then there's also issues of payment issues, whereby people might there's agreement, they have agreement that maybe they'll leave the child there in the daycare, come and then the payment is on a daily basis. Some even as mentioned that they'll pay on a weekly basis, some even on a monthly basis, and then they later even don't fulfill those promises. So it becomes a challenge even for the daycare centers to be able to even meet the minimum cost to run the facility, because the rent has to be paid. Some of them have the helpers that they have to pay. So through the sensitization, they are able now to understand some of their rights. Now they even when they are even engaging with the parents, and now they demand that these payments need to come up front. So if you are having a monthly agreement, then it has to be paid before, not after the month.
Now, we've talked about many challenges. We've talked about harassment, we've talked about inadequate payment, rather mere wages. And we've also spoken about stigma that comes with this work. So from where you sit, Otola, what are these gaps? Where's the weak point? Why are these challenges still there?
Okay, the main obstacle is still the issue of perception, that people still perceive that childcare work, it is only for those who have not learned it, those who have not gone to school, because maybe they view it as it is the last option for the childcare providers. Like if somebody dropped out in Form 4 or maybe in Class 8, now there's no any other alternative. So you just accept to venture into this career because it's the last option for you. But now we are trying to sensitize the community and send the message outside there that this childcare work is a profession, and also in terms of training and certification, because also the issue of why it is being viewed that it is not a recognized profession is because of lack of training and certification. So we also currently the NITA has already rolled out the curriculum, that is the NITA level 3, which is now in place. And now once the childcare workers are now able to join to this TVET and be able to maybe have some certain level of certification, then from there now it becomes easier for them even now to negotiate even for the minimum wage, and also be able to negotiate for all these issues that need to be addressed in the contract, also the payment, the rest days. Yeah, so this can now be managed.
Okay. The husband is talking about training. Do you believe, from your state, do you believe that training can accord you better earnings?
Yes, and I usually say to myself that when I went for training and I have certificate, it can give me easy time when I went to request for a job, or when I'm doing this childcare worker. to negotiate with my boss on the amount and tell her or him this is the amount I want you to pay me, because he or she will see that I have that certificate, so she will respect this certificate, because when I told, most of them usually say that we want to work as a maid, you don't have certificate. So most of people even say that even a class 3 can do a domestic work, even non-learned person can do that domestic work or child caregiver work. But the certificate, it will be easy for us to access our jobs, and our payment will be at least better. Yes.
We move towards the end of this conversation. Beatrice, you've mentioned some of the challenges that you face as a child care worker. Who should come to your rescue? Is it your employer? Is it the government? Is it the society? How do you think this can be addressed?
On my side, the government should come to our rescue by educating us, giving us certificates, because even most of us, we can't afford to pay for getting certificates or learning. So I can request the government to provide for us places for learning and best teachers to give us knowledge on doing this on our work and give us certificates. Yes.
Otolo, the best ways to address these gaps in 1 minute.
In 1 minute, the best way to address this gap is that the government need to move with speed to ratify the ILO 189 and 190, because these are the International Labour Organization laws that once they are domesticated, then they'll articulately address all these issues that we are trying to talk about. The issues of harassment, the issues of low minimum pay for the domestic workers, the issues of resting days, all these issues are addressed in these two conventions, ILO 189 and ILO 190.
Very lastly, Beatrice, what is your last message, maybe your last message to your fellow childcare workers and even to the employers that you work for?
To my fellow childcare workers or domestic workers, what I would like to tell you that let us know our rights and speak our voices. When we have problems or challenges, we should not be quiet. We should speak out for us to get help and for us to be respected. And to our employers, they should treat us with dignities, because we are the ones carrying their children's lives and their lives too, and we are giving them the best duties we can. And to the government, the labor laws should be put into work and enforcement. Yes.
Under 1 minute, Otolo, your last word, and if anyone would want to access your services, how can you be reached as an organization?
So to access our services, we have our offices in Westlands, Gemakot, Rafter Road. That is our main office. And then in Narok, we also have a centralized office at Agricultural Finance Corporation along Narok Nairobi Highway. And then in Kisumu, our offices are located at Mega City Plaza along Oginga Odinga Highway. And then apart from coming to our offices, we can also visit our website at Covao. Then also we also have a website, we also have Facebook page where you can drop us a direct message, and then we'll be able to respond to that. And then we also have our direct phone, telephone lines.
That can be accessed in that website particularly?
Yes.
Fine.
Yeah, so that can also be accessed that website.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. That marks the end of our conversation this morning on the Western Kenya Spectrum. It has been an insightful conversation, I believe so, bordering on the plight of childcare workers in the country, the gaps, the challenges, and the responsive ways that they need to be addressed. They've sent a message actually to their employers as well as policymakers, that is through the government, actually to come to the aid of the childcare workers by specifically domesticating and implementing the ILO Convention provisions 189 and 190. That is the end of our conversation. I really want to thank you, Beatrice and Otolo, for creating time to have this conversation with us. My name is Wycliffe Okech, and I'd really love to appreciate the ladies and gentlemen behind the cameras. We've got Hazel, Atieno here, Christine and Martin, and also the production in Nairobi. But again, we are having this conversation live from Mirage Hotel here in Kisumu. So anytime you are within Kisumu settings, probably you'd want to pass around and sample their services. The Good Morning Kenya show continues, and the segment that is coming up after this short break is the family matters with my colleague Vivian Ndegwa. We are taking a very short break. Don't go too far.
Lights on, volume up. This is where stories come alive. From local drama that hits close to home.
Huyu ni nani? Alinivamia akiwa na vijana wengine wawili. Toka nje. Hii nyumba yako. Yote ni porojo.
To international series everyone's talking about. Stories that pull you in. Characters you won't forget.
Stop complaining and just get out of here. Go now, go.
We turn up the volume with music that moves, showcases rising stars, and bring the beat straight to your living room. And when it's time to talk, we don't hold back.
How is everything going?
Real conversations, big personalities, the issues, the loves, the moment everyone's debating the next day. Every show, every night, different voices, one destination. This is television that feels alive, unpredictable, and missable.
Thank you for staying with us. We now get into matters of family, and today our conversation is beyond the certificate. What is a marriage worth? And this conversation, the context to this conversation is we all know that, the court got to rule that childbearing, domestic work, and home management, or what we call unpaid domestic work, can now be recognized as contribution. And can earn one a share of matrimonial property. And that is the conversation that we will be having this morning. I am joined by my far right. We have Kasande Annette. Kasande Annette is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and is also a managing partner, Kasande Advocates. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Vivian.
All right, and then next to Kasande, we have Cleopa Njiru. Cleopa is a counseling psychologist and is also the founder and director of Viva Mind Solutions Limited. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
This is a very interesting conversation, and I know that our viewers also want to just get to understand what exactly does this mean. And when we talk about, you know, it's having a share of the matrimonial property beyond the marriage certificate, just by someone being or having contributed in-house chores in one way or the other. How do you equate that even? That's the whole question, but we'll get into all of that. And I want us to begin by first asking a very simple question. Might seem simple, but maybe not as simple. From you as the advocate, when we talk about marriage in Kenya, what are we looking at? You know, can we stay marriages that are recognized? Just when you talk about marriage, what marriages are recognized in the country legally?
Thank you so much, Vivian. And it's very, I'm so happy that you've asked what is a marriage, because it sounds so obvious to our viewers, but it's actually not. So the way Kenya is governed by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, it's the way marriages are governed by the Marriage Act of 2014. Sorry, of 2014. So you don't decide which is a marriage and which is not. The marriages actually are listed there in the Act. And under the Marriage Act of 2014, we have monogamous marriages. That means you cannot marry more than one spouse. And that is the Hindu, the Christian, and then the civil. And then we have polygamous marriages. That means that you can marry more than one spouse. That's under the Islamic law and also customary marriages. So those are the marriages. And the definition of marriage is actually, I like stating the definition. Why? Because so many people get confused about this. It's very clear that we should have clarity from the beginning. It's a voluntary union between a man and a woman. How the viewers take that information, it's up to them. But it's between a woman and a man. Okay? And more so, it's not just a union. You must be married amongst the marriages that I've said, and you ought to have a certificate. So it ought to be registered, and as a result of the registration, you ought to be issued a marriage certificate. So beyond that, like the way you've had, if you don't fall under the marriages I've stated and you don't have a marriage certificate, you're not married. So I hope that's clear.
That's very clear.
Yes.
Yeah, so those are the only ways that are recognized as, you know, marriages in the country. And I want to invite our viewers. You can get to talk to us on WhatsApp. We have a number. The number is 0707 303 212. 0707 303 212. You can get to contribute to this conversation. Just WhatsApp us and let us know what your views on this are. Cleopa, you've had, you know, what Annette has mentioned, and I just want us to, I would like for you to talk on beyond the certificate. What is a marriage worth beyond that certificate?
I would start by saying that a marriage is an emotional unit, as well as a legally unit. Emotional is in the sense that the people in the system, the people in the marriage, contribute to whatever happens in the marriage. And the contribution could be physical in terms of their physical presence, what they do to each other every day. Could be emotional in terms of how they support each other. And more so when the family is growing up, when they meet, there is a way they relate with each other to build a future together. And how they relate with each other is the outcome of what the family unit will be. So when we have a healthy family or a family that is progressing, it's because of the contribution of each member in terms of emotions, in terms of their intellectual ability, in terms of their physical presence. So a family or a marriage is a unit where all the members are involved in different ways in making it functional. So for me, that is what I would start with.
Yeah. Now, getting back to the unpaid domestic work recognized as a contribution to matrimonial property. When we look at that, just if you can talk about it generally, or you can help us understand what that means exactly. And, you know, also, when we look at that, I'm sure we're talking about it when it comes to the division of property, and this is after a divorce. So if you can just speak on that.
Thank you, Vivian. Having defined marriage, it's also important to define what a divorce is. And I said marriage, you have to have a certificate. Therefore, even for divorce, you have to go to court. You cannot say, I'm divorced, you pack your things, you go home and say, I'm no longer with this person. It's actually a court process. So once again, having divorced, it's also very important for our viewers to know that you cannot divide matrimonial property when you're still married. I hope that's clear. So when you divorce, there's that final document they give you. It's called a decree absolute.
Yeah.
It's only after you get that document that you go to court now to seek for division of matrimonial property. I hope that's clear.
So when you're still married, there's no way you're asking for a division of matrimonial property?
No. However, you can go to court and get remedies to protect your property. For instances, for example, if someone is a polygamous man, there are 3 wives, and you contributed to, you know, to obtaining this property together. You're the first wife. You worked so hard to get this property together with your husband, and now your husband wants to sell it to be able to marry a second wife.
Yeah.
So you can go to court and get remedies, you know, to protect that property. However, court will not divide. I hope that's clear. You can get remedies in the interim, and court can also declare it's matrimonial property, but the court will not divide until you are divorced. That's why if someone goes to a lawyer who doesn't understand these things, they'll go to court for division because you've quarreled, now you want to divide. The court will send you back and say, you're still married, we cannot divide it. So therefore, we have to first do a divorce and then go back to court for division of matrimonial property. So going back to your question, one would also wonder, what is this matrimonial property?
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of confusion where people are saying, I contributed to this property, or it belongs to my husband, therefore I have a 50-50 share in this property. So actually the property, just like the way marriage is governed by the Marriage Act of 2014, in law, the matrimonial property also has an act, which is the Matrimonial Property Act of 2013.
Yes.
It defines what matrimonial property is. Back to your question. It is property where the two of you live as husband and wife. It's also household goods, things like sofas, okay? It's also property that is jointly owned by husband and wife.
Yeah.
It provides what this matrimonial property is. So one would also wonder, we stay in this house and my husband buys an apartment that we are not living in, we are getting rent, and we divorce. Am I entitled to that property?
Yeah.
That is what we call separate property.
Okay.
So if it's registered in your husband's name, that goes back to the question you're asking, contribution. What was your contribution?
Exactly.
Yes, you stay in this matrimonial home, but then what was your contribution in respect to this other apartment?
One would argue, I'm just trying to look at a scenario where maybe from what you were just explaining, you know, maybe the husband has gotten property, this is his property, he's bought an apartment elsewhere. Can the woman then argue that she contributed, maybe not monetary wise, but she contributed in ensuring that she is ensuring that the home is well taken care of. She is ensuring that the children are being taken care of in the house. She's ensuring that everything is just working around the house, so that she's removing that stress off of the man and he's able to go out there and make money to be able to buy that property. Can that be argued out that way?
So there are two properties that we are talking about here. There's matrimonial property where we live as husband and wife. I'm looking after the children, I'm giving you companion, I'm managing the home, even if I have a nanny, okay, for you to go and work. That is matrimonial property as per the law, where we stay. and that is my contribution. So upon divorce, I might not have given you money to buy this house where we stay, but I've contributed non-financial. My contribution is non-financial because I've looked after you in this property where we stay. Let's not confuse the issues. But for this separate property where my husband has gone and gotten a mortgage, bought another apartment, we don't stay in that apartment. It's called separate property. So for me to include, this one is a bit automatic. You can, and again, it's not 50-50. You have to show whatever contribution, even by you saying childcare, managing the home, it's not automatic. You really have to prove to the court, and the court will not give you 50-50. It's the discretion of the court. So if you put 50 million and for you, your contribution is caring for the children in that home, giving him companionship, it's upon the discretion of the court. However, with this separate property, you also have to show your contribution. And remember, you don't stay in it. So we are not looking at companionship, just like the matrimonial home. We are not looking at caring of the children. So what have you contributed in respect to this separate property? So that will be his, even though he's gotten it in the course of the marriage. And I forgot to say that all these properties have to be in the course of the marriage.
Not one that you found someone already having.
It's good that you ask that. So you could have a plot when you're a young man. My husband could have a plot, marries Annette. Okay, you had it before you married me. You acquired it before you married me. Then, because Annette is very ambitious, we construct apartments on that plot. Then we divorce, and you say, lawyers advised us that matrimonial property is any property that is got within the course of the marriage. This is not part of it. So that is not matrimonial property for sure, but the court will look at your beneficial interest, but you have to prove. So you can still get a share of that other property that he came with in the marriage.
All right, I want to get Cleopa's point of view as a psychologist. When you talk about contribution, like the scenario that we just mentioned, whereby there's this husband, they live in this home together, the matrimonial home, but they've gone and acquired another property outside, they have their apartment for rentals and all. Can the woman, just from the psychological part of it, can the woman rather feel like, or is it proper for her to feel like she has also contributed in him buying this property? Maybe not money-wise, but she has given him that environment to be able to work and make the money and buy.
I would like to continue with where I started by saying that a marriage or a family is an emotional unit or is a system whereby each member of that system has got a part to play. And that's why we are saying there are silent things apart from the material or physical things that we can be able to see. There are those things that happen from the time two people meet, when they are just dating, the time they spend together, the way they build their relationship, the way they talk about themselves and understanding each other. That is where the system starts. And as they continue, they move on developing that system by how they turn to each other. When a husband is not happy, the wife will come and say something that would make the husband happy. When the wife is unhappy, the husband will say something that will make the other one happy. And so those kind of things. Then when they have difficulties, even in their working, if they're in business, and there's a deal that is not going on, or they are working and there's a problem in the office, the other partner will also give something in terms of helping that person to go through whatever issues they have. Now, let us come to children when they are growing up. Like early days of children, there is a lot of science that says the way the mother or the father, because here I would want us to look at both genders, because there are times you'll find the man is responsible for the well-being of the family. He may not contribute a lot in terms of material, but when it comes to emotional availability, taking care of the children, being available when these children are born, even being with the mother when the children are growing, the same with the mother, that whatever you do, the time you spend with the children will determine how that child will be when they grow up, when they learn well, when they participate well in school. And that's a part of what will come to the family, to the marriage in terms of property. So when we are thinking of matrimonial property, we need to go beyond what we can see. And this we can go even to the boda man, who is waking up and going to carry people in the morning and he buys a sofa set, or who is helping in the education of children, or the mama boga, any person. And then also for the rich person who can be able to stay with the children and provide for the well-being of their family. So as a system, the children are contributing. And that's why we need to go even beyond. When we are thinking of matrimonial property, we need to go beyond the couple. We ask ourselves, these children who have been supporting you emotionally in every way, when we are talking about separation and divorce, where are we leaving these children? Who also have participated in whatever is available, what we can see, both material and emotional. And so we ask ourselves, how do we help people to relate in a way that they respect each other, that they don't abandon the other one? Like you can see among the elderly, you'll find a wife abandoning a husband to go around greeting the grandchildren. And this man is not enjoying the fruit of the children they brought up. And then also the man who is also equally well gifted financially, and the children are surrounding him, and the mother is somewhere in the village or somewhere in an estate, alone and lonely. So all these things are the things that we are looking at. How do we ensure, how can we help the community so that people may change the way they think? Because this is a matter of thinking. Even before we think of what the law says, is how do people think about matrimonial property?
And I like that. And just to our viewers, remember, you can be part of this conversation. You can weigh in on the conversation. You can talk to us. The number is 0703-303-212. 0707-303-212. Let us know when you hear of contribution in marriages. What, for you personally, what does that look like and what does it mean? And before I get back to our advocates, maybe back to you, Cleopa. You know, more often than not, when it comes to families, many a times the dream of the man is what is being supported, you know. And by this I mean sometimes women get into marriage and they tend to forget whatever dream they were chasing, because now they have to take care of the children maybe and all of that. So maybe even career-wise, they take a step back. So how can one be able to support their partner or their fellows, their spouses' dreams, while also at the same time not putting theirs aside, while also being able to pursue their own?
That's a very good, important point, and that comes to what we have said. But I would like, first of all, to ask ourselves, because here, when we are thinking of matrimonial property, the mind goes into separation and divorce.
Yes.
And then we could ask, are there some people, psychologists or researchers, who has come into why do people separate or divorce? There is one known researcher called Cortman. Cort is G-O-T-T-M-A. He says that he can be able to predict within 95% accuracy a couple that is likely to divorce, even predict when they are going to divorce. And there are 4 things he says, and these are things he has watched in a laboratory setup for more than 20 years with more than 3,000 couples. The first is criticism. When people are criticizing each other. When you are criticized, you go into defense. And defense comes from the way we have been brought up from childhood by our parent. When you feel your personality has been attacked, how do you defend yourself? And defense can be either positive or negative. When it is negative, then you may go into contempt, feeling you are more superior. And that is where now, when a man is having, or a woman for that matter, is having the material, the money, he may feel, or the lady may feel she's more superior than this person who is equally intelligent, emotionally intelligent, who has allowed himself not to continue with the career so that they can build a house. So that is where contempt comes. Even people start using harsh ones and all that, and the person feels something, because I sacrificed my career, I sacrificed my dreams because of the family. And then finally is when people keep off from each other, they don't talk. Those are the 4 things. But then the beauty is, he says, for us not to have divorce and separation, we can build a relationship house, which is built through understanding each other, through coming to each other whenever you have need, and most of all is what you have said, shared dreams. So that even if the man is adored, he is working, he has money, he has a good business, then as a couple they need to be helped through therapy and counseling. How can they participate in each other's dream? So that the man is participating in the dream of the wife, what she wants to be, or the wife is also participating. So when the two of them start having shared dreams, then you will not be talking about divorce. And then they move on into, even when they make mistakes, when they don't understand each other on money matters, on investment, then how can they repair that? How can they come together? And you know the beauty of this is something scientific, but people need to be taken step by step. And in that case, nobody will feel bad because I chose to stay with the children, which now we talked about attachment. Because attachment is your availability when the children are growing up, from breastfeeding all through to adult life. This wife who has given up a career, a corporate job to be with the children, she feels valuable because of the children she has brought up and the family, including the spouse who she is taking care of.
That is very, very well put. You know, just trying to look at ways in which we don't get to that point where we need to have the division of property, you know, and which is really, really needed, because, I mean, that's the dream for everyone, but, well, things happen. So when these things happen, you had mentioned for a woman to be able to maybe seen that, or to be seen as a contributor in wealth of that marriage, you need to have proof. So how am I supposed to show proof when when my contribution was just being at home? How do I show proof? What am I bringing to court as proof?
Okay, thank you. I would like to give you a famous case that we have in the legal corridors. There's a case called Esharia versus Esharia. It's actually a case that really talks about contribution, and it went all the way to the Court of Appeal. So this gentleman was a diplomat, and he was posted in different countries. He was in Washington, D.C. At some point, he was in London. Another point, he was in Addis Ababa. So what that meant, because he was a diplomat, the wife left her job, whatever she was doing, and was traveling in all these countries with the husband. Okay? Maintaining the husband in all those different countries. So fast forward, the husband bought farmland in Tigoni, in Limuru, 118 acres. Okay? As he said, you know, when you enter marriage, you wish for the best. But unfortunately, the times we are living in, and even the divorce rates are higher than before. One would wonder why. But life happens. So this was a long time ago, as 1987. So he bought 118 acres in Limuru. The title was in his name. Upon divorce, the lady moved to court to request for division of matrimonial property. She had not contributed financially. So when she went to court, she requested that, you know, they share the property 50-50. And court asked her, what's your contribution? He said, you know, as we moved to all these countries, I cared for the family. I gave him companionship to be able to get money to buy these 118 acres. I mean, that's a lot of land.
Yeah.
And court considered that. So back to your question, how do you prove this contribution? It's also very important for our viewers to know that it's not automatic. You don't merely say, I'm a mom, I looked after children. No. Give like concrete evidence. At some point, you know, most people out of the country don't have nannies. Like for that case.
Yeah.
I was looking after the children. I was cooking for him. I was there. You have to prove, unfortunately, and I hope that's clear. It's not automatic. So the court gave, they divided the property 50-50 in that case. The man was not happy with the judgment. He appealed to the Court of Appeal. And what court said, they recognize that there is this non-financial contribution of caring for the children, of companionship and all that. However, it's upon the discretion of the court. So the man, upon appealing, he was given 75%. So it was reversed. It was no longer 50-50. He was given 75% and the woman was given 25%. So if you had receipts, even that's the best.
Okay.
But I always tell people, fall in love with wisdom because times have changed. And he will agree with me. His times are not my times today. Things have changed. People are not genuine people. So for us, lawyers would say, you know, the best time in court is when you have evidence, unfortunately. For this contributions, non-monetary contributions for care, you know, child... the companionship and all that, you really have to prove to court. Of course, there you'll have no receipts, but you can show, you can have photographic evidence, you can have receipts. But again, the discretion is on the court.
Okay. I want to read some of the questions here that are coming in. Someone says, hello, kindly ask the advocate, what if the parent is dead? That is, for example, if a mother is dead, can the second wife come and own anything in the family? And then this other one says, on the issue of separate property, doesn't the wife's role help him be able to expand his financial capacity? She takes care of his other needs and makes his work out there conducive. Eliminating the woman is very unfair in my view. So this is just an opinion. Back to that other question. If maybe the mother of the house is dead and then there's a second wife who's been married legally and is there, can the second wife come and own anything from the family?
So it's very important to note, I forgot to mention, that children are not spouses.
Yeah.
Number one. The married man here owns this house we are in. And unfortunately, I die. Whose property is it for? The title is in his name. We are not joint tenants. Joint tenants is when you own property together. When one dies, automatically it goes to the surviving spouse. So automatically the law has provided for him, it goes to him. Number two, if it's in his name, then it stays his property, unfortunately. Because we are not talking about contribution. You cannot come as a daughter and say, my mom contributed to this property. And
so the question is on whether the second wife has a say in the property that she came in and found the husband having.
So for purposes of polygamous marriages, if you're the first wife and you've contributed to that property, the law will divide that property according between the two of you. If the second one comes and you own that property before the second person comes, the law will presume that the first wife contributed. So the division will be between the first wife and this man. So if the third wife comes and you get another property, the law will presume that the first, the second, they all have a share in respect to this property. But now this person has died. We are talking about succession law now. We are not talking about division of matrimonial property. You are dividing only if the person is alive. So if the person dies, we are following the law of succession. Unfortunately. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have gotten to answer their question there. Now, unfortunately, we have to come to an end of this conversation. Time moves so fast. But maybe just from your point of view, Cleopa, what would be your parting shot in this conversation?
My parting shot is when we are thinking of marriage or family, let us go beyond material and find meaning and purpose even in your contribution to the well-being of the other person, to the bringing up of children, to helping the community. So let our thinking start being beyond so that we find meaning in the contribution you have made, in the work you have made, in the money you have given. And so we start thinking of marriage beyond just property. We start thinking of what have we helped the other person in the relationship to become? What have we helped the other people, the children, to be? So the thinking of the people is let us do things because we are giving something to the humanity. Not necessarily what do I have, what shall I have, but just be open. And that way now you get more and you become happy and live a happy life.
Cassandra?
For me, I would say fall in love with wisdom.
Once again.
Yes. There's what is talked about, but there's the reality. If you own property before you marry, talk about it. Communication is key. You talked about communication. It's very important. You can have what we call the prenuptial agreements. Agree beforehand. This is the property I'm coming with. Upon divorce, I don't look forward to divorce, but this is what will happen. Have that agreement, but most importantly, get information. Information is here with us. So you cannot run away from the fact that you need to acquaint yourself with information. It's very important, even as you're in this marriage. Talk about it, but also know, so that there's no selective amnesia. Whom does this belong to and all that. And people don't have to go to court for division of matrimonial property. I think that's very important. You can agree. You can have a round table meeting between your lawyers or even your relatives, understand who takes what. You don't really have to go to court and fight over. If you consider the things he was talking about, marriage is beyond dissolution of marriage is beyond dividing of properties. We are looking at relationships. We are looking at extended family. Family is here to stay with us, even after dissolution of marriage. But be informed.
I like that. And that is the proper way for us to end this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us for this. And I believe this is a conversation that maybe we can have another time, create time for it and get to talk about it as well. And right now I can see my colleague Victor is back in studio with us. Victor, this was a very thought-provoking conversation, and it's a conversation that maybe has made a lot of people get to open their minds and their eyes. As Cassandra was saying, you fall in love with wisdom. Don't just fall in love.
I have a question. Cassandra.
Yes.
I have a question. There is this paradox that says that the more you know, the more problems you have. Don't you think that the marriage nowadays, we are reading too much into it? We're just reading too much into it. There's something you said. Use your wisdom. How about Cleopa can help us? What was so much way back in the days?
Okay, Victor, they need to check your mic, but maybe I can just allow Cassandra to answer that as we finish. Are we looking too much into marriages now? As he's saying, we are looking too much into it.
As I said, we must appreciate the fact that things have changed. We have more financial problems than before. And therefore, children have to eat, they have to sleep. Before, it was the community that was helping us, our neighbors and friends. But things have changed, unfortunately. And therefore, I always tell people, you cannot go to the highway and pray to God that the car will not knock you. Okay, just like the way people plan for weddings, why not talk about this marriage of ours, including property that we own? Why should we shy away from these topics? Or talk about money? Why should we shy away from these topics? Yeah.
So we cannot bury our heads in the sand.
No. We have to be informed, unfortunately. Even AI has come. Just type, ask, what are my rights? If you can't afford a lawyer.
Yeah. Something as simple as that.
Yes.
All right. Being told we need to wind up and finish off this conversation. But even as we finish, just to remind you, for all the football lovers out here, KBC is showing the World Cup games. And today we'll be having a game showing live right here from KBC, and or rather on KBC. And the game will be happening at 8 p.m. So 8 p.m., make sure you tune in for the Brazil versus Japan game. Mr. Predictions and Mr. Predictor. What's your prediction? Brazil versus Japan.
I still have to ask my question. Don't you think the more we know, the more problems you have? That's number one. Number two, if you say that we need to be keeping all the records of the receipts of all the transactions that you do, does it really make it that it will show that a marriage now becomes so transactional? That's just a food for thought. Okay, my prediction for today, Brazil and Japan. Brazil is going to sail through. Germany and Paraguay. Germany, the three stars, they are going to hack it. And yes, that's my two predictions. Germany against Paraguay, 2-1.
Okay.
Brazil, Japan, 2-1.
The wait is over. KBC Iko Huduma Center. Starting with Nairobi, kupata huduma za KBC imekuwa rahisi. From digital guidance and signet services to booking of commercial adverts and documentaries. Visit our dedicated desks at Huduma Center GPO, Times Square, Makadara, Kibera, or Eastleigh. Tunakungoja hapo. Whether it's a casual announcement or a specialized media solution for your business, we are here to serve you. KBC at Huduma Centers, moving closer to you. Your station, your service.
Are you ready for the next big thing in tech? Well, we'll spotlight Kenya's brightest young minds, game-changing startups, and breakthrough technology that are shaping our future. From AI and robotics to sustainable futures, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
Alan Figo is one of the greatest midfielders that Kenya has ever produced in the world of football. He was born in 1949 in Miwani and went on to leave an indelible mark in the mighty Gor Mahia as well as the national soccer team Harambee Stars. He initially played for Kisumu Hotstars, which came to being following the split of Luo Union Football Club before players joined hands with the splinter group Luo Sports Club to form Gor Mahia FC.
I started playing football at a tender age of about 16 years. And I was playing for a club in Kisumu, known as Kisumu Hotstars. By 1968, I was able to join the national team, known as Harambee Stars. By then it was known as Kenya National Team, but now it's known as Harambee Stars. By then I was still a young man. I was 19 years old, if I can remember.
Figo was given his first call-up in the national team Harambee Stars in 1968 before he joined Gor Mahia 2 years later to record some of his most memorable moments, notably in the Sekafa Senior Challenge Cup, then known as the Gosage Cup.
My first outing was, we were going to a Friendship Cup in Ethiopia. That was in August 1968. And I remember vividly that we were staying at Kenyatta Kenyatta University. By then, not Kenyatta University, but Kenyatta College. It used to be known as Kenyatta College before it became a university. That's where we were staying. I remember my going to Ethiopia was very funny. You know, this is where you are from school. You're going to board a plane, and you've never seen a plane inside of a plane. I was so excited. I didn't even take supper on that day. And when I went to the plane, it was fun. I really laughed. I carried even the utensils back home to go and show people in school. It was a lot of fun. I played in very many Challenge Cups, but I remember we won the first one. Me winning the first Challenge Cup was in 1971. The one that was staged in Nairobi, where we beat all teams here and took the cup. And the other one I took part and took the cup was 1975. And this is the most memorable Challenge Cup I can't forget in my life. This was when Mr. Matiba was the chairman of Kenya Football Federation. We played it in Zambia and we took the cup. I remember very vividly that we were camping at Mr. Matiba's hotel at Jacaranda Hotel. There's a time we almost missed the flight because some of the guys were not there. But when we went to Zambia, I remember vividly very well that every team was allowed to have a taste of the ground, feel of the ground. But we Kenyans, we were refused. In the evening, the mayor had a party of all the teams. Party for all the teams, all the participating teams. We were Malawi, Zambia, Kenya, Uganda, Zanzibar, Tanganyika. So he had a big party, and we were pitted against Zambia. The first match was against Zambia. The next day, and you know, where there's beer and where there's everything, it was a lot of fun, you know. But it was funny, but we were refused to believe that. But when the day reached for the match, we beat Zambia. And it was, but Zambia by then had stars like Chitalu, Godfrey Chitalu, the best striker I've ever seen in Africa, maybe Eto. The best part of it, where I'm saying the best Challenge Cup I've ever had, is when I bought my first TV, because Matiba could fly home. Every match he could fly to Zambia, to Lusaka. Then he promises that, gentlemen, if you win, we'll give you something, I'll give you something. So we kept on winning, and we won all the matches. So when we came back home here, it was terrible. It was the most enjoyable. I can't forget that one, because by then, the only airport we had was Embakasi. We never had JK by then in 75. JK was there, it was Embakasi Airport. When we came, you know, we found a Minister of Work van. Open. Then he said, what is this? And by bad luck, we boarded the plane with Uganda. And you know, we had the cup. So, hey, we just saw everybody at the runaway. Not really the runaway, but I don't know how you call it, but where they usually park their planes. When the plane has taxied. Message at the runaway, that's where we alighted. Our bags, we didn't even go for our luggages. Those were just taken care of. You know, everything was taken care of. We were put on a van, a Minister of Works van, which drove us to Nairobi. And we were keeping right with 99 police. I'd never seen that in my life in Kenya, in my life playing football during Matiba's time. So we drove through Eastlands, through Uhuru Highway, Kenyatta Avenue, all those places. Yeah, and it was fun up to Jacaranda Hotel. The next day, he told us, gentlemen, no, we are going to see Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. By then, Kenyatta was in Nakuru. I tell you, when we reached Nakuru, for the first time for people to take beers in the State House. And we were very happy.
Before then, he had to endure his most trying times with his club Gor Mahia, which was a divided house run by wrangling factions.
71-72 was the most difficult time for Gor Mahia in my life when we were there. Because we had two chairmen fighting, two people fighting. There's Owino, Dan Owino and Anyumba, Peter Anyumba. Dan Owino was defeated in elections at Kaloleni. Then he said, okay, Sawa had been defeated. But Anyumba, you Peter Anyumba, okay, you don't have players in Gor Mahia because you are coming from Kano. And me, Owino, I'm coming from Uganda. The players are mine. So this cattle, sort of as if you are herding the cattle, which has no. So the players went. He went with the players. So we remained two. with Peter Uma. I cannot forget that incident in Gor Mahia. 2 people, we remained 2. Then he said, what, gentlemen? All our playing members are gone with the wind. What do we do? Is Gor Mahia going to die? Then Anyumba said, I remember very, very well when he called a meeting at Kaleni, he said, so long as still women are giving birth at Kenyatta Hospital, Gor Mahia is not going to die. I remember that quote from Mr. Peter Anyumba. Gor Mahia is not going to die. So long as still women are still giving birth, Gor Mahia is not going to die. Then we started recruitment. We told the federation by then that we are in problems. By then, Matiba had not come into office. Matiba came in 74. We told them to give us time to reorganize ourselves. So we went with the bulk of the players. All nine playing members. We all remained 2 with Peter Uma. Can't forget that incident. Then we started recruiting. We started recruiting. We recruited until our first match was against Breweries City Stadium. Ironically, even the people who had defected with the win also came as Gor Mahia now. So we had 2 teams in the pitch, both Gor Mahia and Breweries, 1 team. Then the fans by then were behind Anyumba's team. Then they told the guys that, my friends, you had gone. So if you had gone, you go. You are defected, you go. The team we know is this one. So they were saying, oh, the team that has only remained with uniform, because by then Gor Mahia had the best uniform in Kenya by then. Yeah. The team that has only remained with uniform. But the bulk of the players are gone. So these people refused to leave the pitch. You know, there's a big fight at the stadium. Big fight. And they were really beaten. Then we played Breweries. With that our poor team, we beat Breweries 1-0. And it was interesting.
They eventually made up as Tigo was given another call-up in the national soccer team heading to its first Africa Cup of Nations in 1972, only to miss out in the knockout stages. He became a player come coach for Gor Mahia afterwards, where he helped steer them to victory in the Kenya Premier League in 1974 and 1976.
Came 74, 75, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. 74 I was elevated to coach player. 74, when Matiba took the office. That year we took the cup. 75, we were number 2. 76 was a very memorable year for me in Gor Mahia. We took the league unbeaten. Unbeaten. We never lost a match. We were number 1. Then 77, we were number 2. 78, we were also number 2. 79, we were number 1.
In 1979, Gor Mahia became the first football club from Eastern Central Africa to reach the finals of the CAF Cup Winners' Cup, with Figo the main architect of that dream final, with among others Samuel Wino, Bobby Ogola, Peter Basanga, Paul Oduor, which was the best team ever assembled at the time.
First of all, we were pitted against a team from Jitihad from Egypt. Fortunately, this team never came because they had problems. They pulled out of the tournament. Then we were pitted against Nisambia of Uganda. So our first match was in Kisumu. We drew in Kisumu. Then in Uganda, we also drew 1-1. But because of away goals rule, we went through. Then our second match was in Joliba, Mali. We also won. Third match was against Kadiogo in Upper Volta. And that's the most memorable story, because I remember when we were booked here going to Kadiogo, we were booked in a Kenya West flight, and we were told that the plane will reach us to Kadiogo. So when we reached Nigeria, Lagos, we bought a plane to Togo. So when we reached Togo, whereby we had to take a flight to Upper Volta, by then it's called Upper Volta, now it's Burkina Faso, Upper Volta. The plane could only carry 12 members of the team, and we were a contingent of 18. And the match was taking place the next day. As a coach, I said, what, gentlemen, what's the problem, gentlemen? Wow, how could they have done this to us? This is a problem. This is dangerous. How? 18 and 12. The plane cannot carry 12. And those who are to remain will join us in the second half when we were playing. The next day, second half. Not first half, but second half. So I said, gentlemen, I have to make a team. I have to go with the 12 now. And I'm leaving 6 out. And you know, as a team. So some said, no, coach, we have to go back to Kenya. Then I told them, gentlemen, we just cannot go back to Kenya. We just have to go and play. You will join us tomorrow. Second half, what's the problem? Trained like hell. And fortunately, the referee was a Ghanaian. So they said, no, we can't play. This is water, mud. And we were saying, this is a blessing in disguise. This is beautiful for us because we usually swim in City Stadium. By then you could swim in City Stadium. We played and we beat them 2-1 in Nova Volta. Beautiful. And that's why I scored my most memorable goal that I will never forget in my life. That's a goal. They were leading 1-0. Then Owino Kempes was a very good midfielder. Now he's in the US. He scored the equalizer. Then the winning goal came through me. I remember diving about 10 meters in that sand because they are sand. Because when I left the pitch, all these were blood. But it's beautiful. I headed it in. But the most memorable goal, I'll never forget. I scored for Gormaya. That's 1979. Semi-finals were the most beautiful one because now we are playing the cup holders. That is Royal of Guinea, of Conakry. That was the best team by then of the cup holders. First of all, they came to Nairobi. When they came, by then the City Stadium was the only stadium that people could play football. So when they came, they were warming up. They say, people say, but will Gormaya manage these people because they were big guys. And they said, okay, no problem. Good luck. We beat them here 1-0. When we went to their place, 2-0. News came here that we were lost. We lost. Then news came late again that we won. I tell you, the airport was no-go zone. They uprooted all the trees on the road to the airport. All the trees at the airport, they uprooted. Nightmare is national team. When we were given 9-0 with Zambia. 9-0. 9-0. We lost 9-0. 9-0. That was the worst nightmare. And that's why I decided to quit football. We were given 9 by Zambia. 1978 in Malawi, East African Challenge Cup. We were whipped by Zambia. 9. See, they were scoring. They just score. The goal comes, they score. They come past the defense and score. They come and score. They come and score. They come and score. 9 without a reply. We thought the goalkeeper was bad, who was a boss. He had 4. So we brought them down to Biambo. He got 5. So it's not the goalkeeping. It was the whole team. And I said, no, gentlemen, I've had enough. That's where I hung up my boots anyway. And I resigned officially. When I came back, I told gentlemen, enough is enough. I can bear it no more.
The man who seemingly controlled the entire football field during his heydays may have retired, but is still revered in the regional football circles due to his exploits.
I would have said that the olden days would have been now, and this one would have gone during the olden days. By that I mean, now there is money in football, and people are not playing. Yet by then there was no money in football, and people were playing. Because if you take the crop that we played with, the crop that we played well with, and you compare this crop, I tell you, even now, if the people who watched us play and the people watching this guy plays are still alive, and they tell them to draw Kenya first, since Kenya got independence, to today, to name the first 11, these players won't appear in that list.
Just couldn't make the space for the shot. He was just slightly worried there as Urenchi went in and caught an opponent. This time it's Opong who gets the yellow card. Urenchi escaped any censure.
Just broke into it, a little bit of end-to-end. Look at the desire. Luka Modric, 40 years of age, still going really strong, and there he is again, getting his big toe in, blocking shots, stopping attacks. Wouldn't be his strongest shoot, Luka Modric. My God, he's been very impressive in defensive manner and an attacking manner today.
Confirmation of that yellow card for Opong.
Wakenya, ni wakati mwingine wa kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako. Jiunge na msafara wa KRA Roadshow, uwe fiti mambo ya returns. Tarehe 29 mwezi Juni msafara wa KRA utadunda Migori Town CBD, kisha tuingie Rongo Town, tupenyeze hadi Awendo Market, Uriri Stage, Kehancha Market, Isebania Border Point, Kuria Market, Mtimaru Market, Suna Stage, alafu tumalizie Muhuru Bay Market. Tarehe 30 Juni iko mlangoni. Usingoje hadi dakika za mwisho. File KRA returns mapema. Ishi bila stress. Jijue, jibeta. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
He is one of the greatest players of all time, better known as Diego Armando Maradona of Argentina. He's been there, done that, set records on and off the pitch with his achievements to set world transfer records. And here is his story.
Villa Fiorita is a slum to the south of Buenos Aires. Its one claim to fame, though, is that it's the birthplace of Diego Armando Maradona. Here, in an environment of stunted dreams and social wasteland, football is the only motivation for a youth that have little else to look forward to. You either excel or disappear. There's no place for second best. Maradona was not only exceptional, but an inspiration for others to follow. If miracles could happen, then surely Maradona had been truly blessed.
Maradona era un caso excepcional ya de chico. Era tan fabuloso que yo creí que no era de la edad que tenía, creía que era un enano. Porque en la categoría de él hacía cosas que eran muy superiores para donde estaba él.
Maradona's precocious skills were soon expanded into a dazzling repertoire that audiences marveled at time and again. Despite the disappointments of being dropped from Menotti's '78 World Cup squad, Maradona bounced back in devastating style at the '79 World Youth Cup. A shining star had well and truly arrived.
Yo a Menotti eso jamás se lo voy a perdonar. Le quitó el mejor mundial a Diego.
Para mí fue un fenómeno. Para mí me gustó más que Pelé.
Maradona es un jugador increíble que ha logrado movilizar aún un poco más a los hinchas de Boca de lo que se movilizan por la camiseta en sí mismo.
A world record transfer did little to help an unhappy stay at Barcelona. And the '82 World Cup proved to be an even bigger frustration as his skills were repeatedly blunted by executioners expert at tormenting and intimidating, leading unfortunately to his early dismissal. However, his much publicized move to Napoli was to be a partnership made in heaven and hell, as both club and player had much to prove and sought recognition in the toughest league in the world. Maradona was given free rein to exploit his extraordinary talent with a public that adored him, and he repaid them handsomely. Now the stage was set for his crowning glory. Mexico was without doubt Maradona's tournament in every way. Now more mature and streetwise, he was far better focused than in '82. He took a relatively ordinary Argentinian team and turned them into world beaters, but not without sparking controversy first. The infamous Hand of God incident will remain an albatross around his neck forever. As much as his second goal against England is seen as the greatest World Cup goal ever. That sublime action elevated Maradona truly into superstar status.